Is it done?
Is it going? Is it going? Is it going?
Yes. Push the button.
First pick, had to but I got a feeling I deserve it. Now I'm only moving with a purpose. The people showing love, but I ain't going through the circle. Never had a chance, wasn't on me. Off season started working on my post game. Now I seen the readers at the phone when they alone. I break them off and send a home. Got a game with no shame. Saying I'm a flop, that's an insult. Chill. Rolling all pay still. Send a shot, y'all ain't never got a kill. Kick rock, city full of cops. They got me heated.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Mike from Whirlwind Pop. I mean, we fucked that all up already. Hey, this is Whirlwind Podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
Anyways, kill the music. All right, boys, we are back and we are fucking it up. So, hey, it's been about a week and a half, but we are glad to be back and we're back at it. So, I am Mike.
I'm Jay. This is Michael Mooney.
And Michael Mooney is the guy that can't quit laughing. Anyways, we want to talk to you guys a little bit about
Big country.
Big country's here. A little bit about the draft, our thoughts on the NFL draft. We're not giving you all 7 rounds, but just mainly our thoughts on some of the bigger picks, some of the trades that went down, a little bit of NBA playoff thoughts, and so on and so forth. Unpredictable today, no script, no nothing. So let's dive right into this NFL draft talk. So at any moment, our broadcast, our team, our guy who runs our board normally hits the button to play this fancy NFL music. And when we load into that's a clap. That's there it is. That's normally how it works when we go into the NFL draft.
Sorry. All right, I'm on.
Are you there,
I'm
or
here.
should we just restart this? Because we fucked it up majorly from the very beginning.
We're good. That's what makes it entertaining.
So we want to really dive into this NFL draft, and you can kill the music at any moment, Mooney. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try this again. So we're gonna dive into what we really want to talk about in this NFL draft. One is, how do you guys feel about the number 1 overall pick, Travon Walker?
It was awful.
That's it.
Awful.
Like what makes it? What to you guys makes it? Was it a reach? Was it awful? Does it? What do you guys think made the Jaguars make this selection?
What I've seen, what I've read, they based it off of how good he did in the combine, because he absolutely did phenomenal in the combine. That was what made the head coach, because the owner did not want him. He wanted to go with Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson is who Khan wanted.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the coach and I think general manager, I think both wanted.
Balky wanted Walker, and I
Yeah.
believe the coach wanted Walker.
And
also.
the reason why they chose him was because how good he did in the draft, or in
the
the combine. In the combine. I mean, because he just tested off the charts in the combine. That's why they went with him.
So you find it as a terrible pick. Was it a reach at 1, or is it just not who you preferred one?
I think based off his productivity in college, I mean, he had one good year. His senior year, it was his best year. I think if me as a coach, I want to go off productivity and proven that they've done it, and Aiden Hutchinson's done that. I think he was a better pick than what Walker would have been.
I thought they needed Kyle Hamilton at safety. I mean, they're missing in their secondary bad, and that guy's he can play corner, he can play safety. He's a ball hawk. He tackles. That's what they needed. Trayvon's he's 6 foot 275 pounds. He's a big guy. What are they using him as? They're going to use him as what, a TJ Watt?
Well, I think he's going to be just a hand in the ground, pin your ears back and rush the passer.
Well, they run a 3-4. So I'm thinking they're going to run him on the outside linebacker position as a hybrid. The problem is he's actually decent in a pass coverage, like out on the edge. But not great. But he is a pass rusher. That's what they got him for. The pass rush from a 3-4 scheme. He's kind of small. And he's 6 foot, but he's big. He's athletic. But didn't they say that he had a problem with stamina in college? Didn't they say that he gets wore out fast?
That part I don't necessarily know. His nails are driving me nuts, dude. We can hear that clear as day, and it's driving me insane. Tank, get out. Now he's eating. We can hear that. Can you guys hear that clearly?
Yes.
I can hear him chomping on the dog food.
Yeah.
And now he's coming back.
Yeah. He is. Go.
Are you done,
No.
Tank?
He's like, I'm hungry, guys.
Anyways, yes, I do not know whether or not they mentioned anything about stamina. Obviously the Jaguars felt that his ceiling is much, much, much higher than Aiden Hutchinson's or Kyle Hamilton or one of the numerous left tackles that were in this draft. So how do you feel about him? Do you feel they reached, or do you feel he's still, if you're taking him on upside alone, is it worth, because you're one of the ones that say the position only matters how bad the team wants you.
Mhm.
So do you think they made a mistake taking him number
I don't
one?
think it was a reach because everybody had Trayvon Walker in the top 10. So it wasn't like a reach. I mean, he was there.
No, I'd put him in the top 10, but number one overall, no.
I mean,
That's the thing is that
who in that draft really is number one overall for what the Jaguars needed?
well, obviously they wanted a pass rusher, and I think Aiden Hutchinson
I think Aiden
production
Hutchinson
in college is by far gives him he might not have the athletic ceiling that this Trayvon Walker has, but he has the production that shows that he is by far more capable of rushing the passer at a high level against top tier talent than what this Walker
and that's
showed.
what I think with Walker. Walker's a bulldog. That's what he is. He's not mobile. He doesn't have a lot of agility.
Did you not see what he ran in the
He's
combine?
fast as fucking combine.
I didn't say fast.
He ran a 4.
I said mobile, meaning agility.
But he,
Oh,
but
left
did you,
to right
you
lateral.
They don't have a lot of cut.
Oh, if you watch his NFL combine, I watched it last night on a video of him. They were talking about him, and
I thought they said
the dude's
his
quick on his feet.
Yeah, I thought they
The
said
dude's
he
awesome on
he
his
was
feet.
he was nimble as could be.
Oh yeah, he's nimble,
How's he with
quick.
his hands?
That's the thing they said.
And they said he could be a tight end. They
Well,
were
I'm talking
talking about it, that he could be a tight end with catching.
I wonder what he means when he says hands is his moves to get past left tackles, right tackles.
Because from what I've heard, he's got a lot of power. He does. He can bull rush and he can knock you down. He doesn't have the moves. What I'm saying is like Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson's a more complete defensive end.
But wouldn't you think that makes more sense to take at number one is the more complete? He might not have the higher ceiling, which I'm not a guy on
once
ceiling.
again,
I don't care about the ceiling thing that they love to talk about.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't either.
More often than not, that higher ceiling is never reached when you reach on a pick.
Because Aiden Hutchinson is what I've talked about before and many a times is he's a true defensive end. And the Jaguars run a 3-4. So he doesn't fit scheme-wise.
I think maybe they're thinking they can
They
sort of
think
mold him.
Trayvon fits better.
Yeah, they think they can mold Trayvon into a hybrid linebacker, probably.
Right.
Someone that has.
I mean, he's going to rush more often than drop and pass.
Well, Aiden,
but Aiden is more of a hand in the ground. I'm coming at you. Get the quarterback.
Aiden's not going to drop back and
I think that's what it was. I think it was a scheme fit and Trayvon for them.
But what do you think
sense.
the more surefire pick would be to take one of them tackles if you're up in the air on these defensive ends?
Maybe they weren't up in here. That's the thing. They had the number one overall pick. Maybe they knew right away who they wanted.
Balky did, but Khan did not. The owner did not want.
No, he
Walker.
wanted Aiden.
And I told you that a week ago when we talked on the phone that they're going to give it to the GM's going to get his way because I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but I think it's Shaq Khan. He's never been that guy that he's not Jerry Jones. He's not that.
I kind of like that though. Put your people in place, let them do their job.
They did their job. I don't disagree with it, but to say coaching staff, probably it wasn't up in the air. They knew who they wanted from the minute they had him in and watched his combine.
I think though, if I'm the owner and I have the first round draft pick, you bet your ass my opinion is going to count when it comes to who I'm going to pay first round money to.
But see, that's the thing is when you say that, a lot of them owners that are like
No,
that.
I'm not saying overrule it. I'm just saying you're going to hear my opinion. You're going to know,
Which
and
I think
we're
a-
going to come to an agreement here.
Which I would think they did, but you had Jerry Jones, you have
Robert Kraft.
no, Rob Kraft doesn't get in it. I'm
No, he
talking about
doesn't? Oh, people who get in the draft.
who
Who was the
overrule
Raiders
their
guy that did it?
Al Davis did it. Dan Snyder does it for Washington. So a lot of these franchises where their owners like to put their nose or feel that I own the team, I'm going to have a say so, seem to struggle more often than not when it comes to.
I mean, look at the history of the Cowboys. There's been some picks where it's like,
Yeah,
what?
Jerry's made some bad ones, but Jerry's made some really
Yes.
good ones because he has come out and said that, it was
Taco
it
wasn't
was
him.
it
It
was
was his son.
Stefan, it was Stephen Jones who wanted Taco Charlton. Jerry didn't. And it was also, I guess, this time last year, Jerry said we're taking Parsons. And he made that aware after the draft. He's like, look what I got on Parsons.
see, I'm glad Haslam stays out of it in Cleveland
So I'm
because he doesn't know football.
Yeah.
You hire these guys to do a job, let them do their job.
And the one thing is with Jerry, I'm a Dallas fan. I'm not a big, huge fan of him. But Jerry's not stupid with football either. He's
Been
not.
doing it.
He's
since
been
the-
around it his whole entire. He's bred his boy, Stephen Jones, into football. I mean, he knows what he knows, obviously because of his dad and being around football. So I don't agree with the pick. I think if you obviously we see that they're not they probably weren't up in the air. They got the guy they wanted. But I just think there was better picks. I think Aiden Hutchinson was a better pick. I think I don't know how you pronounce that left tackle's name in Nua. That he was a better pick.
Well, I know they're not going to make him a number one overall pick, but for some reason I'm drawing a blank. The linebacker that slid. We all.
Oh, he's talking about. You're talking about this draft, right?
Hmm?
The one that slid her down.
Yeah.
I can.
And we end up going to the Eagles. One we all wanted. One that did bad at the combat.
Nakobe Dean.
Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
He actually makes more sense in the Jaguars defense, but you're not going to take him number one overall.
Not just that, they have two linebackers over. They have Miles Jack. and
No,
they have
they-
No, they
He's with
lost
the Steelers.
Miles Jack.
Oh, that's right, they did.
And then Schobert's not there either.
No, but they got that other one.
You talking about Jones? I know who you're talking about.
He's young. He's like
Yeah.
a year or two younger. He's there, and he's good.
And Nakobe Dean, I found out, fell because he fell in the draft because he has a pec issue that he's trying to avoid surgery on. So a lot of teams are like,
A pec injury is easy to overcome.
no, not by what their standards is. No, it's not for a linebacker.
Really?
That's why that's sort of what scared people off is they don't know how serious the torn pectoral muscle
Josh
really is.
Allen.
Yeah, that's it. Josh Allen.
So it's a pick to me. I'm not high on. Whether we're a few years from now, we'll revisit this and maybe they got it right.
We'll see after his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, I won't even say that just because of the fact that you could still be a bit slow. He could take off year 2, year 3. We'll come back towards the end of that contract and see. He got I think he signed a 4 or 5 year deal. They already put on their $36 million guaranteed or something.
Well,
like
I
that.
will say when you pick a guy number one overall, you want to see some production right away.
Oh, you do, yeah. I mean, he obviously is because he should get right in.
So no matter what he does this year, he's got to show improvement year 2. You're going to be the number one overall pick. You got to show improvement.
So, who do you think had the best draft this year?
Jets.
That's who I say.
Yeah. Jets.
Jets. Now they picked one of the best receivers. They picked arguably one of the best corners in the draft.
I'm not, dude, but
I mean,
I'm not.
They grab a linebacker or running back that.
I'm not ruling out the Philadelphia Eagles.
That was my next one. I
Whatsoever.
was going to say Philly did good. That defensive tackle they took.
Jordan Davis was
Davis.
solid. They made the trade for AJ Brown. They also got Nakobe Dean in the second or third round.
They took him in the third. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they got a lot of. I mean, you can't count AJ Brown as a drafted
Was he
player.
third round?
I'm pretty sure it was third. He slid to the third. I'm pretty sure.
I know he didn't make it through the second. I couldn't remember if it was third or fourth.
No, it wasn't the fourth. It was not the fourth at all. He would have been a day 2 pick or day 3 pick. 4th,
Yeah.
5th, 6th, and 7th is on Sunday
Yep, third
or
round.
Saturday. It was
So
third round.
I want to ask, since we're on the draft, I need one letter. I don't need multiple. I don't need it could be this or that. Cowboys draft grade.
A B.
Bengals draft grade.
C+.
Okay, that's pretty good. I
Um,
gave Cleveland a C+.
I
You
think
guys
the
got the
reason
best
why,
kicker, and I'm jealous.
I think the reason why I think we picked so many safeties.
Yeah, I don't understand.
3.
It just depends on what they're going to do with them.
I guess Daxton Hill has agreed to be. He'll play corner. He'll play either a nickel or outside corner. He did say that he's.
I figured that's what they were taking.
So that's where they're
him
going to
as.
move him at. And I think if he performs, I think you could see Eli Apple find a new home real quick.
I mean, he's got to perform. I mean, it's not a bad pick. It's the best available. With Cincinnati, I think they wanted an offensive lineman. I would imagine they wanted to see a center or a guard, but when they came up to pick at 31, there wasn't nothing.
According to Taylor, he said that they spent the free agency on offense. They wanted to spend the draft on defense is where they were at. They did take a offensive lineman, I think the 4th or 5th round. They did take, but how I think we took 3 safeties. We took 3 safeties, I believe, a defensive end, an offensive lineman.
You know, even though we're in the same division, I wasn't sure, but I didn't think your guys' secondary was that bad to where they really concentrated enough on the secondary for you guys.
On our defense, our secondary was our worst thing. That was our weakness. Was our secondary, and it wasn't because the 2 starting corners. It was mostly because of our nickel corners and Eli Apple let some plays.
You had no
go
depth. You had no depth.
Yeah, there was no depth. So our secondary is what hurt. Our safeties, we got 2 great safeties out there. I mean Jesse Bates obviously great. Von Bell, still not a bad safety. Wouzier and Hilton, 2 good starting corners. I mean, they're not a Jalen Ramsey or nothing like that, but they're good corners. But our defense, our secondary is probably a worst thing on defense. Our defensive line was great. We had a good defensive line. Our linebackers.
I thought it was your linebackers that were kind of weak.
Other than Wilson,
they're young.
Right.
Jermaine Pratt's coming up. Gaither's coming up. I think they get a little more. They're second year in, so they're kind of younger. Logan Wilson though, lights out when he's out there. So
Just like Cleveland, we have Jeremiah Wusa-Koroma, and that he's a beast. And then that's it.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the 2 trades? Do you think AJ Brown and Hollywood Brown, weirdly enough, 2 Browns traded? Do you think they play a factor? Obviously, Hollywood Brown, we got the news. DeAndre Hopkins is missing 6 games for PEDs.
Arizona knew that. That's why they went after Brown.
They knew, but I know that part. Hollywood Brown does nothing for them if there's no DeAndre Hopkins. My opinion, he's a deep threat. He doesn't run good routes. He doesn't catch the ball very well. So losing Hopkins and thinking, well, shit, we'll replace him with Hollywood Brown.
I don't think they were trying to replace him. I just think they were trying to find a fit for them that they could get. And I think that they thought he was the best option.
Jarvis Landry's on the market. So is Odell. Why not go after one of them?
I think money. Hollywood Brown, I don't think he's still playing on a rookie deal. So I think it's a cheap option.
Odell, and with Odell, there's no guarantee that he's going to be ready for the season.
Yeah, he could miss the first 6
Yeah,
games.
there's no guarantee.
There's nothing wrong with Jarvis. But you're right. Jarvis probably going to want some money because
he already said he wants money.
This will be the last contract he gets that's going to be worth anything.
I think that's why Jarvis isn't signed, is because he won't come off the money that he wants.
Now, the A.J. Brown trade, I think, was brilliant on Philadelphia's part. I think that offense is going to be tough to stop now.
Passing, we just hope.
I think
we hope Jalen Hurts can consistently get these receivers.
I think he has potential. I think with what he had last year, he did well for what he had last year. I think adding him into the mix, and if Devontae Smith can stay healthy and be out there, that's gonna be a tough offense.
They got that.
And that running game, and Hurts, he can run the ball. We know he's very mobile.
Well, they have to get Miles Sanders healthy. I think he's sort of the secret to the success of their offense. They need the Miles Sanders from 2 years ago, not the injury prone.
I think if they can maintain a strong running game, have a good threat in the backfield, Hurts his mobility, and he can throw the ball, and these receivers stay healthy, that's a scary offense.
The only thing what hurts is he can throw the ball, but he's inconsistent throwing the ball. And a lot of Eagles fans preach about that, or I shouldn't say preach, they complain about it because they say you can see the potential in him, but he seems to lack focus when it comes to just trying to stay accurate. I don't know if it's maybe his mechanics fall apart for a short amount of time, and he just,
I think he tries to do too much.
does he open up too soon?
Philadelphia sounds like Cleveland. That's what they sound like. When they got Jarvis and they got Odell and they got Nick and they got Kareem and then they drafted Baker and they gave Baker all these weapons, but Baker was too inconsistent. That's exactly what it sounds like with Jalen. He's just inconsistent. They're giving him all these weapons and his loaded offense.
Well,
Can
we'll
he
find
get
it out now.
consistent
We'll
now?
find it out now because he didn't have a
Jalen
loaded
didn't have all
offense.
these weapons.
No,
last
no,
year.
now I'm
right.
saying they're giving it to him. That's what they did with Baker. Let's build around him and let's give him all these weapons, and that's what they're doing with Jalen. And Jalen's the way you guys are talking about Jalen is the same way we've all talked about Baker being
That's true.
inconsistent.
Yeah, that's true, and it's inconsistent throwing the football.
Right.
So I mean, it's
Were you guys shocked that Baker wasn't traded on draft day?
Yes, actually. No, actually, I wasn't.
I
If-
wasn't
if
once I seen Kenny
Pittsburgh,
Pickett.
yeah, once Pittsburgh took him, I knew he wasn't. I mean, no one was going to trade for him.
That was about I think the only time they were going to trade. What I am shocked about is Tennessee being able to grab Malik Willis, so late. I mean, what, third round? Like they took him in the third.
I like that Tannehill said, I ain't mentoring him. It's not my
Yeah,
job.
I mean, from you two sitting here, that you bring that up. Do you think Tannehill's wrong for saying he isn't paid to mentor
No.
Malik Willis?
No, it's a competition.
No, I think Joe Montana did the same thing as Steve Young. I'm not coming in to help you take my job, man.
You
And
want
I'm
to take
not
my
trying
job,
to-
you earn.
I'm
it.
also not trying to help you become a great quarterback. That's you, and that's what the coaching staff does. I got a job to do. My job is they did not bring me to Tennessee so they could draft a quarterback
you're a
later in
good
life so
student-
that I can teach you.
If you're a good student, if he's a good student, Malik Willis comes in and he watches Tannehill. I'm not saying Tannehill's the guy to watch, but if you've
He's
got
not a bad
some-
one to watch.
No, but my point is, if you've got a veteran up there, you watch. You don't need him to teach you. You watch.
But do you think Tannehill teaches him and isn't afraid to teach him if he?
I think there's certain
if he wasn't
aspects-
feared of his job being taken, because I think that's Tannehill's mentality, right?
I don't know.
To me, when he said that, it's more along the lines of, "Fuck you, they brought you in here to take my job."
Well, we looked at his stats there. He's 30-13.
As a starting quarterback, yes.
Yeah.
His record is good, but we know their record isn't.
I'm not
because of
sure it's
him.
out of fear as much as that's just who he is. I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna help anybody.
My thing is
I don't care.
everybody forgets Ryan Tannehill came in as a receiver. So he was not a quarterback drafted out of high school or out of college. He was a receiver converted
to Miami.
to quarterback. So somebody, a veteran coaches, taught him. We've never heard Tom Brady say, I'm not teaching nobody nothing. We never heard Tony Romo. Tony Romo was in big favor of Dak Prescott. Other great quarterback.
That was different. Tony was at the end. He knew he was going to be retiring soon. He knew that was his replacement.
He was helping him before he hurt his back. He was not against helping him. He didn't care.
I think some
Because
quarterbacks
he
don't
felt
mind.
that you're not taking my job if I'm healthy.
Some don't
so I'm going to
mind,
help you.
and some don't
If
care.
they got that mentality, like Tom Brady, he knows you ain't taking my job.
Right, that's what I'm
Peyton
saying.
Manning's like, you ain't taking my
if
job.
Tannehill wasn't in fear of his job, because he is. I don't care what any of you say. Tannehill knows they're blaming him for that playoff loss. He had 4 interceptions. He choked it up with no Derrick Henry. He knows the year prior was not playoff success because of him. They rode the hot hand. They rode the bell cow behind him. So now he's going, shit. Now you done drafted a fucking quarterback in the 3rd round. Motherfucker. Like, okay, and then you want me to come in here and then people want to ask me, you going to help Malik Willis? And he's going, are you serious? In the back of this, is just my opinion. In the back of his brain, I think he's going, motherfuckers, I got to worry about my job. So the thing is, I got to feed my kids. I don't care about this dude, whether he's going to be great, not going to be great, nice guy. Like you said earlier, this is a competition, and I feel he's in here to take my job. So learn it on your own, young cat.
I guess
if you
it
can beat
just-
me, you can beat me. You know what
I
I'm
guess
saying?
it depends how you look. I mean, you could look at it like, I look at it's a competition either way. But as a quarterback, you could have the mentality, you ain't taking my job. I'll teach you, but you ain't going to beat me.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers was like, oh, shit, they drafted Jordan Love in the 1st round. He's going to take my job? No, he never thought that one time. He thought maybe there's a possibility you're not going to re-sign me, but he was never like, it ain't happening. Like, oh, no, we drafted Jordan Love to take him. No, you didn't. You drafted Jordan Love because you're unsure on my future. You don't know whether I'm going to want to leave or you're going to re-sign me. So you're just banking on something else. I mean, do you think, like, say for instance, you guys went and got Deshaun? Do you think Deshaun is sitting there worried week 1 if Baker Mayfield's still on that roster?
No,
Why?
because they just paid him $230 million guaranteed money.
Right,
He knows
so-
I'm the guy.
Right.
There ain't no ifs, ands,
Do
or
you
buts
think?
about it.
Do you think if Joe Burrow, if they were to draft, if they were to say they would have drafted Malik Willis in the 3rd round this year, do you think Joe Burrow is worried about helping that dude?
No.
Do you think he helps him? Probably. He ain't gonna help him like, oh, let me take you underneath my wing. You're going, but he's not gonna be afraid to be like, hey man, you sort of opened up a little early there. Maybe tighten that up a bit.
Some quarterbacks may just be like that. They just have that mentality where it's like, I'm here to do my job. I'm not here to help you. Whether they feel you're going to take my job or not, I'm focused on me and what I'm doing with this offense. I'll help you read a playbook on the sideline, whatever like that. But
I don't fault him.
I don't think it's that.
I don't fault him if he doesn't want to help him. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it's just, do you think he has a fear that this guy has a legitimate job of taking a legitimate chance of taking my job come week 1? So
I think there is a shot, depending on how Malik does in the practice and understand the playbook and that, and then they struggle. But that's the thing. Tannehill's never really struggled through. I mean, he's had some bad games. What quarterback hasn't? But he's never really struggled through the regular season. It's always the playoffs. So you're not going to get to the playoffs and then bench Tannehill and go, we're going to go with this rookie. I feel
Tannehill's their guy.
I feel after this year, they make the playoffs again. If they fail again, and it's got to do with Tannehill, they may look to move on to Malik. That's why they drafted him.
I'm going to put a bold prediction out, and I'm going to tell you Ryan Tannehill will not be the starting quarterback of the Titans week 1.
Yeah, he will.
And if he is, he's going to have to play perfect football, or they're going to pull him.
I don't think he does.
I think they
he
have
does.
lost complete interest in Ryan Tannehill. Complete. I think they know that he has handcuffed him for the 5 years he's been there. And it's like, dude, we're not going to go no farther with this guy at the helm. We're just not going to do it. And then you see it. And what did he?
The reason why I disagree is because if they were in the mentality to win now, Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback. They'd went and traded for him.
Not when it's $18 million. I think that's the biggest issue with Baker. Once again, is guaranteed money. He's guaranteed that $18 million, whether you trade him or not. That's his money. So
we have a date to trade him by that we don't have to eat that money.
Well, it's probably June 1st.
Yeah. So after June 1st, even if we trade him, we're eating the $18 million. Teams know this.
And then you also have to realize that Ryan Tannehill did sign a deal a couple years ago with the Titans.
3 years ago, I think.
I think it was damn near close to $100 million.
He's getting paid $29 million this year.
36 with bonuses we've seen on TV. And now you have to find somebody to take him.
That's the other reason why I think he's a starter. You're not paying that man that much money to be a backup. You're not.
I mean, I can agree with that. I can see that.
You're going to put him out there, and he did lead you to the playoffs last year without Henry.
No, they also had really good running backs that came in and played awfully well.
But it was no Henry though.
No, well, no,
it was no Henry.
There is not many Henrys.
So he was able to get him to the playoffs last year. I think that he will be the starting unless something major happens and that Malik Willis goes out there and just tears it up. I look for Tannehill to be a starting quarterback come week 1.
Yeah, I don't see him not being the quarterback week 1. I don't see it.
Money wise, will be about the only thing I think keeps him sitting in that spot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to sit on the bench.
Their cap hit for Tannehill this year is $38 million. Next year is $36 million. That's a cap hit.
Yeah, but someone can eat that money. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
I mean, we just watched it with Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Other teams would be willing to take on that money if they think he's the guy that gets them over the hump. So they'll pay that team.
If Tannehill
money.
leaves, if he leaves Tennessee, I don't think he goes anywhere else and starts.
He's not good.
I think if he stays this year at Tennessee and he does not, and they release him, I don't see him starting.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. Oh boy, Tannehill will be a starting quarterback next year for the Houston Texans.
No. I mean, it's your bold prediction. It's bold, but that's you might as well just keep running out Davis Mills. I mean,
no.
I mean, he started to improve last year. My thing is I don't I don't disagree with what he did or didn't do saying that. But at the same time, I can see if it rubs some people wrong in the organization of Tennessee because the fact that you weren't this profound quarterback coming out of college. You were a guy who needed groomed, needed help, needed to be
course he needed
taught
help.
how
He
to
was a
play the
receiver.
position, right?
Different.
And yet now, once you're there, you're like, I'm not helping nobody. I can so if it rubs Tennessee the wrong way, because it has been, I mean, they talked about it again today. It did rub the Tennessee coaching
Yeah,
staff
but
the
again,
wrong
remember
way.
the people who groomed him and helped him were coaches, not another quarterback. It was the
We don't know
coaches who
that.
helped him.
I don't
Who did
know
Miami have at that time that would have helped groom him? They didn't have
Ryan
anybody.
Fitzpatrick, and that's not a. I believe he was there.
Mhm. I don't think he was there when he drafted him
Where would he have been?
at that time. Buffalo.
I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't Ryan Fitzpatrick. There was Matt Moore and
Matt Moore's not a bad quarterback to learn
Brandon
from.
Fields.
I don't know who the hell Brandon Fields is, but Matt Moore was a very serviceable quarterback for 12 years in the league. He was. I mean, he started for Carolina too. He's not an absolutely atrocious quarterback.
He's pretty bad. I mean, he is. He's not a good quarterback at all.
What makes you say that?
I mean, Matt Moore has never even started a full season.
No,
And it
I
ain't
just
'cause
said
of
he was a
injuries.
serviceable backup, is what I just said on air.
I
He played 12, 13 years in the league.
mean, he's got 49 touchdowns and 36 picks in his career.
Backup numbers.
That's great.
Backup. What did he do when he started?
The only time he ever started was a 13-game season he played in where he started 12 games. He completed 60% for 2,400 yards, 16-9.
That sounds like Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill was 27-7.
Oh, when he's prolonged, he's been in the league, what, 8, 9, 10 years. But when he was the quarterback of the Dolphins, what was he doing?
But you have to understand, like you said, he was a receiver, never played
in
quarterback.
the Dolphins, 2 of them years he was in Dolphins, he threw for over 4,000 yards.
Yes, but I'm talking about his beginning years. Matt Moore was a back.
Years.
He was a backup quarterback his whole entire career, really.
Who?
Matt Moore.
Oh, he's talking about Tannehill.
That's what I said. So Matt Moore, when he got to start, he showed promise. If he'd have started 16 games, he probably had 24 touchdowns, 11 picks. He only played
Tannehill
12.
is by far better than Matt Moore. Not even on his same level. Matt Moore is a journeyman backup at best. Tannehill's a starter. Like,
yeah,
he's proven.
So who's better out of Ryan Tannehill and Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Depends what
No.
day Ryan Fitzpatrick has.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a journeyman backup. That's what he is. He's had some seasons where he's got to start full seasons because of injuries. No one other than last year, the year before, when who was it? The Dolphins who brought him in and let him start because he was almost the best available out there.
He started for Buffalo, didn't he?
Oh, he's been to a lot of
He's been to a
teams.
lot of teams.
No, I mean he got traded to Buffalo for a starter, didn't he?
I think the only year he probably started is when EJ Manuel was there, and it was fucking absolutely horrible. One of the worst draft picks of all time.
Yeah, he's bad. He was real
He was
bad.
horrible. And Buffalo took him in the first round.
The reason why Ryan, I don't think, ever really got the shake at quarterback is because the same thing with like Baker's inconsistent.
The same
He
reason with
can't
all
stay
backup
consistent.
quarterbacks.
No,
Right,
he
right.
started. He did start. He started with Buffalo. He was in Buffalo
What year?
from 2009 when he left Cincinnati, clear up until 2012. He was their starter, and then he went to Tennessee as a backup, and then went to Houston,
I forgot he played.
He played. No, I remember when he played for Houston. He split
and then went
time.
to the Jets. Played a whole season with the Jets.
I
Threw
remember
for
that.
almost 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 15 picks.
Yes.
And then the next season with the Jets, played another whole season. Well, he got injured 2 games. No, he got injured 5 games. He was out 5 games to 2,700 yards, 12 touchdowns. And that year he threw a lot of picks, 17. Then
everybody knows Ryan Fitzpatrick is a journeyman backup. He's been a backup his whole career. He's been in the league,
Pretty much.
15, 16 years, and he might have 4 seasons where
I
he
thought he was in
started.
the league like 47 years.
40 feels like he's been playing for forever.
Came in,
feel like he was in the
in
Super Bowl in the
2000.
70s.
Came in 2005 with St. Louis. Ended his career in 21 with Washington.
Yeah,
So he played
Washington.
16 seasons,
Wow.
and he probably has 5 seasons as a starter.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean,
He's
I
a
mean,
journeyman backup.
he's a
That's what
good
he is.
backup.
He is.
He's
He's
known
a-
for
he's an
being a
incredibly
backup.
great backup to
For-
have.
Hey,
come in.
for being a backup, he's thrown more yards than some starters.
Yeah.
He's thrown for 34,990 yards, 223 touchdowns, 169 interceptions. He's completed 60.7% of his
Which is
passes.
trash, absolute trash. 60% is absolute trash. I mean, like we said, though, he's a great backup to have. Matt Moore floated around the NFL because he was a nice backup to have. And same thing goes with
Ryan Fitzpatrick could arguably be probably the greatest backup quarterback that's ever been in the NFL.
no,
I mean, seriously.
truthfully, I mean, he might go down as probably the greatest backup to ever back up somebody. Because Kyle Orton held on for a little while as a backup. He was there. He come in as a draft pick for the Bears, or I think it was the Bears, wasn't it?
No, Broncos.
Broncos, yeah.
Mm.
And he held on for a little bit as a
No.
backup.
Bears. Got drafted by the Bears, got traded to the Broncos for the Jay Cutler trade.
Was he involved in that trade?
Bears drafted Kyle Orton. And then
What year?
Kyle Orton was early 2000s.
yeah, Kyle Orton.
Was he there with Rex Grossman?
Oh, he had to have been, or at least drafted.
I think
right
he
after
took the
him.
place of
I don't have my phone to even look.
drafted in
was
Chicago in
05.
2005.
So I said it was early 2000s.
And then he was traded when they traded for Jay Cutler.
Because I mean, Andy Dalton is going to be one nice little
Yeah.
serviceable.
He was there with
backup.
Rex Grossman.
Yeah, I knew he was.
Yeah, he had to be because that was the year they went to the Super Bowl.
I thought-
2005.
Was it 5? I thought it was
Two-
6.
2005. No, it was 2006. Right?
I thought it was 6.
No, it had to be 2005 because 6.
Yeah, no, it's 2006.
Yeah, 2006.
Super
Yeah.
Bowl champion 2006. The next year.
So he was there.
So it was the 05-06 season.
Actually, he was a starting quarterback in 2005.
Ooh,
Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton started for him right
And
off the
next
rip.
year, Rex Grossman did for some reason.
Because he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Orton got hurt, started 3 games,
How many years he played? 13, 14 years?
2005 to 14,
Yeah, so he played in
9 years.
9, 10 years. I mean, he was a backup. That's what he was. He sat on the bench back. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, Andy Dalton's going to finish his career.
When he
as a
went
nice
to Denver, he
backup.
was the starter the whole time.
Yeah, and it was horrible.
Threw for 3,600 yards, 3,800 yards, 21 touchdowns, 12 picks, 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. That was with them, with Denver. And then when he left Denver, he started 8 games with.
He went to Dallas.
I told you that's why I brought him up. He finished his career as a Dallas backup.
Finished career as Buffalo backup.
Well, how many years did you go there?
1.
Oh,
And he
so
actually
must have
started
signed
12
the-
games there.
Who?
Kyle Orton started 12 games in 2014 for Buffalo, went 287, a 440, 64% completion, 3,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, 10 picks.
No, it's 4 picks.
No, 10. That's
Oh, you're looking at touchdown interception or percentage, yeah.
yeah.
So, needless to say, he was a pretty nice. He's a decent little quarterback.
His record's 42-40.
Winning record.
Mooney hates when you say that.
No. I hate it when it's tied. When it's like 40-40, I'm like, what's a winning record? Like, is it?
Not really.
Is it really?
Well, it's not a losing
And
record.
it is 500. I get it, but yeah, that irks me when people say that.
So there's one other thing I seen. I watched with Isaac today at work, and it's called it's a show called Bussin' with the Boys. I don't know if you guys seen it. Taylor Lewan sort of runs it, and he brings on
Oh, the
former
old, lineman for the Tennessee Titans.
he brings on I think he still plays for them.
So
Yeah.
hold that thought. I just want to run this by you. Did you guys consider Jay Cutler a good quarterback?
Jay Cutler was like the ultimate gunslinger.
I thought he was decent.
Yeah, he's
Would you believe that Ryan Fitzpatrick has almost the same amount of yards as him, only shy of about 200 yards in career passing, touchdowns of almost the same, interceptions almost the same.
and a lot less years.
I was going to say,
I mean,
Jay played less
for
time
what,
than-
9-10 years?
Jay
Yeah.
played for 8, 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
So a couple years. He had 23 comebacks, 28 game-winning drives in his career. He had 62% completion, 35,133 yards, 227 touchdowns, and 160 interceptions.
Yeah, he was a gunslinger for sure.
Mhm.
That's what
I
that
liked
dude
his
did.
attitude.
I hated his attitude.
I
That's
loved
what
it.
That's why he wasn't a starter that's why he wasn't a great starter. He'd much rather sit over there, eat donuts and smoke cigarettes instead of working on his game and his body.
He always had that face on the side. I was like, I don't want
His
to
body-
Dude,
here
he
right
reminds
now.
me of Alec Baldwin, dude. He
Yeah.
looks like a Baldwin brother.
Dude, but his wife, they're getting divorced. She was so hot.
But anyways, I seen this on it's a show called Bussin' with the Boys. Taylor Lewan runs it more likely, but they had Ryan Clark on there. I don't know how old the show is. Isaac showed it to me today on
Ryan
Facebook.
Clark, safety from Pittsburgh.
And they brought up Derrick Henry.
Do you hit
voice
puberty
cracked.
just now?
They brought up Derrick Henry. And I want to hear your guys' take on this because me and Isaac talked about it. Ryan Clark said, Derrick Henry's arguably 1A, 1B, number one back in the league. Their second back was Jonathan Taylor. But Ryan Clark come on there and said, he's like, I'm not taking nothing away from Derrick Henry. He's a great back. He's one of the best backs in the league, but this dude's not tough, period. You would much rather and Taylor Lewan asked, what the hell do you mean by that? And Taylor Lewan, he's got to back his boy. He's a Tennessee fucking tackle. But he said, what do you mean by that? He's like, you don't see Derrick Henry lowering his shoulder and running people over. When you need 1 yard, you don't give it to Derrick Henry. Because Derrick Henry, he's like, highlight plays. How many highlight plays have you seen of Derrick Henry actually running somebody over? And they got into it. Do you guys think he is the bell cow that people do? What the main thing is Taylor Lewan says Derrick Henry strikes fear in cornerbacks and defenders' eyes. Ryan Clark says you're nuts. Put me in a 1v1 versus him, and I can tackle him 9 out of 10 times because he's not going to lower his shoulder and he's not going to try to run me over. He might try to stiff arm me because that's what he does, but he's not going to try to run me over.
I don't understand this running over thing because I've seen Tennessee games. I watched him play Cleveland in the home opener 3 years ago, and he destroyed our defense. And I mean, he was bowling people over. So I don't know where he's getting this. He don't go after people when he's running. Yeah, he does.
Well, we did see in the playoffs, he folded when they tried to run him up at the middle. I mean, he was tackled pretty easily.
He's more of he's a powerhouse when it's open field running.
Yes. See, God, I'm so glad you said that because that's what Ryan Clark said. Ryan Clark said, get him in the open field. He's absolutely impossible to tackle. Why? Because he's got a longer reach than you. He's going to stiff arm you. And then what he has better than most people is breakaway speed. And he did say that. And when you look at Derrick Henry, how many highlight films does it show of Derrick Henry running you over?
And if you look at it, how many times does it show him breaking through the middle?
Yeah, running and then stiff arming.
Most time it's a lot of outside runs. They get him running on the outside. Very seldom do you see him doze him over in the middle.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I can see that.
Yeah,
He's more of a powerhouse open field runner.
And that's Ryan Clark kept saying that. And all I said to it was he has the ability to run you over. He's 6'4", 200 and probably, what would guess, 260 pounds,
lower his
250
shoulder.
pounds.
The thing is with that, he does have the ability, but a lot of taller guys, like big guys like him, doesn't get down and low. Your lower built, your shorter guys, they're the ones that's going to get down and run you over.
Well, the thing is do you guys think, Mooney, do you think Derrick Henry looks for contact, or do you think he'll avoid it if he can? Being his size. When you look at someone we'll just say 6'4", 250.
I think if you want to last in the league, every running back looks to avoid contact. Why? Because you're not going to take the punishment on your body. Zeke Elliott doesn't look for contact.
The fuck if he doesn't?
No.
He lowers his shoulder and tries to run over everybody.
In the beginning, when I saw him come in the league, that dude would run out of bounds when tacklers were coming towards him.
You didn't watch enough Dallas games.
I did.
They said the biggest flaw why they think he's declining his hits because he actually was one of the first ones to be fined for lowering his shoulder as a runner.
I saw him run out of bounds a lot of times where I thought he could have fought for yards, but I don't have a problem with it.
I'm not saying there's a problem with him running out of bounds.
If you can avoid contact, you get some yards, avoid the contact to save your body, fine. I know people won't agree with me on that because they'll say, well, then if you need the yard, then why wouldn't you go after it?
I'm going to disagree with because that's what you're paid to do. As a running back, you're paid to get that yard.
The thing is, when it comes to that is, what are you saving him when you're running him 400 times? 400 carries is what this dude pretty much averages a year.
Right.
Well,
where are you
saving his body at?
That's where we went last year. Me and you had a long conversation about that. If you looked at the amount of carries that he had versus anybody else in the league, I mean, he had more than double the carries. That's why at that point, before he got hurt, he had a couple hundred yards more than anybody else, but had double the amount of next carries to the next guy.
Well, that's what Ryan Clark brought that up in that bus. He said, because they brought up, he went out week 8 and he still finished, I think, 5th in the league in rushing. And he had almost 1,000 yards through 8 weeks. And Ryan Clark says, of course, now turn around. He's like, and I'm not, once again, not taking nothing away from Derrick Henry, but give Jonathan Taylor them same amount of carries. Give some of these other Nick Chubb, Zeke Elliott, give these guys this many carries.
Mhm.
And he looked at Taylor Wan and says, you don't think they put up the same similar numbers?
I think they put up better.
And
I think Jonathan Taylor is a better runner and a better all around back than Derrick Henry. The things that make Derrick Henry look so good, because they see the amount of yards he puts up, and he's a big man, and it is because you look at a lot of the highlight reels. A lot of people wouldn't even know who Derrick Henry was if it wasn't for the highlight reels of him throwing the cornerbacks around.
That's why they call him King Henry, is because he stiff arms the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's his.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
No,
that's pure
great.
power.
That's pure power. And I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think as an all-around back, the best back in the league to me, if he could stay healthy, is Christian McCaffrey. If he could stay healthy, that dude is lights out, awesome. But I'd put Jonathan Taylor above him right now.
Above
McCaffrey right now, because McCaffrey can't stay healthy.
But when healthy,
McCaffrey's a beast.
When healthy, I agree. When healthy, and we're throwing injuries out. When healthy, I think Christian McCaffrey is the best back in football.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said also when healthy, I think it's really hard to keep.
Nick Chubb is a great back.
Yeah. And Nick Chubb is more of a contact guy.
Oh yeah.
And that was the whole question. That's why I want to ask you guys. That was the whole question is, Mooney, do you see Derrick Henry as that bullish physical running back? Like, do you think defense are afraid he's going to just flat out run us over? Or do you think they're more afraid of what he's great at, his ability because he's a superstar to break tackles and to break big runs with his breakaway speed and stiff arms? Or do you think he is what you would label just like a bullish back, like a
Jerome Bettis?
I won't even say that because it's another great. I'm going to give you another one. Like, do you think, Mooney, in your opinion, is Leonard Fournette more bullish than Derrick Henry, running style wise?
Yeah.
So,
but do I think defenses fear him? Absolutely. I mean, he's 6'3", 260 pounds. Even if he's not on his shoulder, that's a hard man to tackle. And I know they say in the open field because of speed. I mean, even physically, that's just hard to take down. That was one of the people's biggest problems with Peyton Hillis that year he broke out in Cleveland, because obviously he takes more contact than he actually went looking for contact, but it's hard to take down those guys those size. The only other guy that we ever seen that big in our lifetime run like that was Brandon Jacobs. He was another one. He didn't look for contact. Brandon didn't, but he did flatten people.
Yeah,
but I don't think he went out. I don't think he went out headhunting. So I guess you guys are right. I don't think Derrick Henry goes out headhunting like some of these other people do. Like Chubb don't shy away from it, like you said. Like if he sees him, he'll put his helmet right between them numbers. Yeah. But just like Mixon will too. Mixon will hit you. So I guess you guys are right. Derrick run away from it. I
won't say that he runs away from it. He just finds ways.
I'm not saying that he's a wimp or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like I said earlier, if you can get away from the contact, get away from the contact. And he's got the speed to be able to do it for a guy his size.
I have a question because you brought up Peyton Hillis. This drives me nuts with this. I do not see why people thought he was such a great back. He had one season he rushed for 1,100 yards.
I don't think they've seen him.
And they say breakout season. I'm like, 1,100 yards. I mean, it's a good season. Don't get me wrong. Great season.
And he had, I think, double-digit touchdowns too.
They had lots of touchdowns. I'm pretty sure.
But breakout season. I mean,
I think that when they say breakout seasons, because it wasn't.
He didn't do anything. He was a fullback.
He had 11. He had 11 touchdowns that year. 11 touchdowns. He carried the ball 270 times, which is a 4.4 yards per, which is a really good average per attempt. And I'm not saying he wasn't a bad back, but then the next year comes out and runs for 161 times for 587 yards. Goes to Kansas City. He never sees anything over 500 again. Like, that just blows my mind. This dude rushed for almost 1,200 yards, 1,177 yards. Why would you not? Why would you? I don't. It blows my mind. Why, if he was such a good back, why didn't you keep him running?
I don't think they ever seen him as a good back. I
I
don't think
think it was-
Cleveland ever.
We were decimated that year on the offensive side of the ball. Peyton Hillis got put in, and he ended up doing pretty good, and so he stayed the back. And then that year, it was just he had games where he had 100 and some yards. He had games where he had like 60 yards. He was just hard to take down. He was big. He was strong. He was not incredibly fast.
Well, they were trying to almost label him the next Mike Allstott.
They were.
I remember that
because he was a fullback from Denver when we got him, but we had a fullback in
He
can't remember his name.
He touched the ball 331 times that year, averaged 5 yards each time he touched it, and had a total yards from scrimmage 1,654 yards from scrimmage.
So he had a good season. It was a breakout season. When I say
Not
that
bad.
breakout season, it was because when I see these breakout seasons, and they say that, to me, most of the time, it seems like when they say, "Oh, he had that breakout season," it's just because it just wasn't expected.
Right.
It
And
just
it wasn't.
It
It wasn't.
wasn't at all.
It's the same thing. I look at DeMarco Murray, what he did for you guys in Dallas that year, and then after that,
Oh, he was good for Tennessee, though.
Just
You guys
fell
forgetting
off.
about that. He had another
I
2,000
don't
or 3,000
think he had
yard
1,000
season.
yard season with Tennessee. I
Oh,
don't
yes,
think
he
he
did.
did.
Oh, yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure he led the league with us, and we gave him that 400-yard carry
Yeah,
thing.
didn't he have like 1,800 yards with you guys or 1,700 yards?
17 or 1,800 yards. Yeah. Oh, he was a monster that year for us. It's also crazy to think while you're looking that up. It's crazy to think Peyton Hillis, I'm pretty sure, shared a backfield in college with Darren McFadden and Felix
He
Jones.
did with Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alabama,
or not
Arkansas.
Alabama, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you couldn't get no playing time anyways because you had Darren McFadden, who's arguably one of the better college backs we've ever seen. Yes, he was injury prone, bad in the pros, but Felix Jones, Cowboys drafted really high, and
He had a
Untitled
1,000-yard
Chapter.
season in Tennessee. He was there 3 years. He had 1,000-yard season. Never came close to duplicating what he did in Dallas.
No, because we ran him. He had that 400. They call what the 400 carry curse or whatever it is. We gave him the ball a lot that year. It was a lot, and he got a lot of yards though too.
I think the other thing with Derrick Henry, I think because of this amount as they do rush him, I think you're going to start seeing injuries start piling up on him.
Well, I said that about Brandon Jacobs back when they were in New York because of how big he was. And the thing with Brandon Jacobs, one of the things he said, why I started to decline is because they started going for my legs. It was the only way to take me down. You couldn't go up top with me, and it was taking a punishment because they're so big. He's the one that was on Pat McAfee's podcast and said, watch Derek go on a decline. Once he starts getting injured, they're going to start going for his legs because a big guy, that's the only way you're going to be able to get him.
The only thing that I'm not saying it's not going to happen because I do more often than not, you start to see a decline of these bigger backs once they have one injury. But the way that dude trains in the off season is stupid. So he actually trains his body for these hits. A lot of these other big backs never did that. The workouts he's doing, the things he does with his legs, and he even says it, are pretty much to withstand large amounts of carries, big hits to his thighs. It's all workouts that are supposed to strengthen, them certain muscles from where you get the big hits in your legs that ultimately are crippling. It's like getting kicked by UFC, fighter over and over again. Sooner or later, your thigh muscles, hamstrings are like, I don't want no more, dude. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. So I do agree. I think both of you are right. I think he's ultimately, you could start seeing injuries pile up, but on the other hand, I wouldn't be shocked if you don't see him just because of what we know with today's sports science and the way he trains is the only other thing that might.
They say McCaffrey's the same way, though. He trains hard all the time, and that's why he's always in. He can't give his body time to heal.
Well, he's retarded. Like, he looks old right now. Do you see that picture where he's running and he looks 40? Like his body doesn't look 40. Dude's fucking. He can't have much body fat on him at all. But his head looked weird. I don't know if it was edited or Photoshop, but that dude looked weird. Like he looked like I don't know. He looked weird. He just looked weird. But also in that what you say there, in my opinion, McCaffrey's not built like Derrick Henry either, though. This dude's putting on a lot of muscle, a lot of weight on a small frame. Derrick Henry ain't a small. I mean, that's like Mooney just in shape. You have to think about it. What are you, Mooney? 6'3", 6'2", 6'3"?
6'2".
Yeah. How tall are you, John? 6'1"? So in your best shape, your legs obviously have never been as big as Derrick Henry's, but
it's a semi truck.
this dude is built He's built to withstand when McCaffrey overdoes it because McCaffrey ain't no bigger than me when it comes to height wise. What is he? 5'10"?
There's one other back that was a big back who was actually successful. I mean, actually had a career to where at some point they could look at putting him in the Hall of Fame just because of what he did statistically. He only had like 11,400 yards rushing, a lot of touchdowns. But Steven Jackson, he was 6'2", 240 pounds. And he had 8 years of 1,000 yards or more. 8 straight years. The dude was a beast. We all remember him.
But he broke down too.
And he did. At
And
the end,
why?
his
'Cause
body started to break down.
Steven Jackson
bad.
ran you over.
Because remember, when he went to Atlanta and he started to deteriorate, like it was bad. It was like watching an old man out there trying to run. It was bad.
He was horrible in Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't when we signed him, like, who's this guy? Who is this guy? Get this guy
Start
off.
naming him Fragile Jackson.
But I
'cause he
think
couldn't make
everybody's
it.
body, like you look at Todd Gurley, explosive back then. He just
And his happened so young.
But
his
his
body.
knees, it's his knees.
Yeah.
He was like
fucking 25 years old when it started happening.
he's only like 26 now.
Yeah.
But it's like the Brandon they call
that young?
they call it like the Brandon Roy.
The old Dallas guy?
No, Brandon
Oh.
Roy. That's
The
Roy
Detroit
Williams.
Lion guy?
No, Brandon Roy from the
Oh,
Blazers.
the Blazers.
basketball. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, this guy?
Oh, this guy.
He's 27.
Yeah, he's young, but they say his knees are similar. He's got very little cartilage in both knees. He's got arthritis in both knees. It's just become unbearable for him. And it's not really what I was reading on him. It's not really to walk. Like he doesn't get a whole lot of pain. It's like Brandon Roy. He didn't have a whole lot of pain walking. It's the shifting.
When you start to
It's the
shift.
side to side. It's the lateral movements
Mhm.
that really put the pain in their eyes. And it's like sooner or later you just tap out. You're like, dude, I can't take it. It hurts.
And it sucks because you got somebody as talented as Todd Gurley
Oh,
and their
dude.
body just gives out
Just
on
think
them.
about it.
That
Before he
sucks.
became hurt, like 3 years ago, this dude rushed for what? 1,500 yards?
We were talking about him
He
being the next big
rushed,
thing.
2015, his rookie year.
Well, what did he do
rushed,
2 years ago? 3 years ago? His last year in Los Angeles.
857 yards.
No, when they went to the Super Bowl.
2018.
Was it 18? It was either 17 or 18 is when he was in the MVP talk.
He rushed, the most he's ever rushed was 1305. That was in 17. 18, he rushed for 1251.
Yep.
He had
Eight-
touchdowns, though, 13 and 17, 17 and 18.
Yeah, I know.
And then he declined. It's from
18
18
is-
on is when
Yeah,
he declined.
18 is when he went to when they went to the Super Bowl, correct? 2018. And that's when they what was his name? CJ Anderson.
Yep. CJ
They
Anderson.
benched they
Yeah, that's why we're
Gurley
all
in the
flipping out.
playoffs.
Like, why do you
Yes.
not have Gurley in the Super
Yep.
Bowl and you're playing fucking CJ Anderson?
Yep. And it's because he knew his knees were bad
because
at that
there's
point.
a reason.
Yeah, they knew he was struggling at that
He
point.
went to Atlanta 2020, rushed 195 times for 678 yards, still had 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, I remember Atlanta because they were goal line situations. It was Todd Gurley. They were bringing him in because I think they had who was the running back with them. He ended up signing Mike Davis.
Mhm.
Mike Davis that's when he
'cause
ultimately.
you're in the goal line. You don't have to cut moves so much.
No,
It's just
just
go
let him
bowl
run-
people
yeah,
over.
let him
And
run him over.
he's a beast.
Dude,
But
he was on pace to
They,
be a
they
fucking
said the
flat out
reason
was.
stud.
why
he was.
they reported that he was suffering from arthritis in his left knee, the same knee in which he tore his ACL during his junior year in college. Apparently, it would turn out to be the cause of his eventual demise.
Mhm. As I said, and it's eventually like I said, what I read, they said it's in both knees. Both knees have severe arthritis and very little cartilage.
That's why a lot of people were scared about Nick Chubb when he got drafted for that freak injury, knee injury in Georgia. And they kept saying that
Which I don't understand because he did that as a freshman.
That's what
and
I-
he went
that's
on to
what I
have
said.
3 stellar seasons at
after
Georgia.
that, right?
Because remember, I told you
And
they
he's
were
been a
taking
beast
him.
in the NFL since.
Yeah. I told my brother can vouch for it. I told them back when they drafted, I think they drafted Gurley in what, 2013? Is that when Gurley was drafted? 2014, 2013? And I told him, you guys need to take Todd Gurley here. And Tim said, well, he's injury prone. I'm like, yeah, but you guys are going to take him. And they did draft him, and he ultimately had 3. That dude was on the rise.
I mean, right there in that draft, he was the best back in the
Oh.
draft at that time,
oh, yeah.
like by far.
And he was coming off.
And they needed a
year-
running back.
He got hurt, and then he played another year. So he was coming off another solid year at Georgia.
He got drafted 2015 with
15.
the 10th overall pick.
Yeah.
He was earned all SEC honors in the 2012-2013.
And he was a monster. And then he blew out his knee. He got hurt, and then he came back. I think he played one more season with Georgia, and then he entered the draft.
He missed his first 3 weeks of the season due to the torn ACL suffering.
So he did
his final year of Georgia.
Yeah, he did it this final year. I thought he played one more year. But there's one other thing I want to talk
for
about.
1,100 yards his rookie year.
Yeah, dude, he was a monster. His first 3 years in the league, he was a beast, and then Sean McVay is a genius.
You know, the only other number one back taken out of that draft was Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, he was a beast.
What
I mean,
about-
it is
D
still.
said, "What about the bus?"
Oh, I mean, Jerome was just an animal. He withstood everything.
I mean,
but he
like,
was
what, 5'11", 270 pounds?
He was just
Something
That was a
crazy
whole
like
different
that.
animal.
Yeah,
he was
Yeah,
just
it
a
was
different.
fucking-
His feet
He just run you over.
and his feet were unbelievable.
So
he
nimble.
was so nimble
He
on
was
his
for being
feet
a
for
big
his
guy.
size. Like it was just unheard of at that time. Yes, and that's why he gets the label the bus, dude. I mean,
He just run you over.
5'11", 252.
Yeah, you just
That's a
didn't expect
big
it.
dude.
You wouldn't think a dude that size could run like he would. either.
No.
You wouldn't
And
think
he
Derrick
had
Henry was the
he had
same size as
decent-
Dak Prescott.
Jerome had decent speed when he got in the open field.
Or
I'm
I
not
should
saying
say
he was
that-
crazy fat, but decent speed for a guy that big.
Same height, maybe not same weight.
Huh? Dak Prescott's 240 pounds.
They don't look built the same.
No,
Henry looks like a fucking
Well,
tank.
I said that wrong because when you look at, you wouldn't think Dak was the same size as Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, because he looks.
Yeah, you
Derrick
don't.
Henry looks
and,
way bigger.
and I
than
believe
Dak.
Dak is 6'2", 240. So it's like,
I'm 6'1", 260.
I mean, that's a big, and like he said, Derek was 6'3", 250, 260, whatever it was. So it's like I think I made that conversation with you last summer about when you said Cam was way bigger than Dak. And I'm like, dude, Dak's bigger than what he actually looks. And then you seen weight wise, I think Cam had him by 10, wasn't it like 10 pounds or something like that?
Something like that.
But they were about the same height, relatively the same height. It's like,
And Dak looks thicker. Cam looks skinnier.
yeah, it's like, but Dak's got like, he must have like monstrous thigh muscles or something. Because he doesn't look real big from the top part.
I mean, he's thicker looking dude, but like I said, Cam looks just skinny, like toned, but he's bigger than that.
It's weird. There's one other thing I want to ask you guys, because I seen this on TikTok, and it's a wild question.
I bet this is basketball.
No, it's actually still football.
Oh wow.
I seen them talk about, and I really wanted to debate this with you guys. They said when the Rams made the Super Bowl run, when they went in, that if you replace Jared Goff with Jimmy Garoppolo, they said this on a show I follow on TikTok, Gridiron Gang. They said they win that Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. If you replace Jimmy Garoppolo with
Back in 2018.
in 2018. They said Jimmy Garoppolo gets the job done. The Jared Goff is an overrated quarterback, and he wasn't the sole reason they got him there, which I think we debunked this already.
You know, I shared a stat.
I think we debunked this already because
I'm
people
pretty
tried to say
sure-
Goff didn't have a good season. I think that was the year he threw 36 touchdown passes.
Y'all post too much stuff, man. Yeah, right here. When it talks about this, they say how bad Jared Goff is. Jared Goff is only one of two quarterbacks with 45-plus wins and 20,000 passing yards over the last 5 seasons. You know who the other quarterback is? Tom Brady.
I was going to say I was going to guess Aaron Rodgers.
So to say he's overrated,
we've never said that. This show has never once shit on Jared Goff. This is why I brought it up, because we all feel that Jared Goff is not just a bridge
I think
quarterback in
If
Detroit.
we didn't get Deshaun Watson and Goff was available, I'd want Goff. He's a good quarterback.
I think
He threw 4,600 yards that year they went to the Super Bowl, and he had 32 touchdowns, 12 picks.
how many years has he been in the league?
I think he came in about the same time,
6 years.
2016.
So how
think
what
he was
is
the
his
year-
passing yards per season?
think
You know, every season. since
He's
been-
probably 3,500 yards a year.
well, the 1 year is
Which is
46.
the average.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying
1 year is
average wise.
46.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Well, back-to-back years over 4,000. 1 year was 46, and the next year was 46. The next year was 3,900. Then last year was 32 with Detroit. And 2017 was 3,800 in his rookie year.
so
He
he's
didn't
probably
start.
37,
he only
3,800
threw
yards.
So
a
1,000.
how
year.
can you say a guy that damn near throws for 4,000 yards every season goes to a new team, throws 32? But let's face it, Detroit is not the.
But he
Rams.
wasn't the problem in Detroit.
No, he was
this
not the
year.
problem in Detroit. To say it is totally unfair for them to say that Jared Goff is over 4,600 yards back-to-back season. That is not an overrated quarterback. That is a quarterback. If you give him the right surroundings, the dude can play ball.
Well, he got him to the Super Bowl.
Got him
Which
to the Super Bowl.
Jimmy Garoppolo did too, but once again, I don't believe they made that Super Bowl run because of Jimmy
defense was
Garoppolo.
nasty.
Defense was great. Running back Mostert had that fucking huge game against the Packers of 200 and some rushing yards, almost 300 rushing yards.
I think another thing that hurt him was because you look, they did take Todd Gurley out in that Super Bowl. That's a big threat.
They took him out in the playoffs pretty much. CJ Anderson had that breakout 6, 7 games. They started sort of dwindling Todd Gurley
And
out.
didn't they get him from Denver? CJ Anderson?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Either came from Denver or Carolina.
Yeah,
one
I
of the
think
two before he got there.
I honestly think that Goff got the shit end of the deal. Is what I think happened to Goff. And now he's in Detroit with nothing. Nothing.
you
And they're
look at-
asking
okay.
him to go win on his own. And it's
Okay, you look
how many
at
quarterbacks can?
you look at Matthew Stafford just got there. How many yards did he throw for last year?
I know it was over 4,000.
Yeah, I do not, and I will not say Jared Goff is better than Matt Stafford.
No, I wasn't going to say.
All right,
but
I was hoping. I was like, don't
wasn't-
say that. Don't say that, John,
I'm not
because
gonna say that
we're
either.
not doing that one. But yeah, what did he have his last year in Detroit? I see what you're probably doing here.
So last year with LA, Stafford threw 4,800, 41 touchdowns, 17 picks.
What was his last season in Detroit?
Yeah, what was the last season in Detroit?
4,084 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 picks.
And what was Goff's
3,200 something.
That was in Detroit.
in Detroit?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
When it
you
comes-
look at the stat there, and Matthew Stafford had more weapons, in Los Angeles than what
By far.
So Goff wasn't that far off from what Stafford did. He really wasn't.
No, I mean, he
4,600
threw
yards,
4,600,
4,800 yards.
4,800, yeah.
I think
no.
why they say that is because Goff did choke in the Super Bowl. He choked bad, miserably. He played horrible in that Super Bowl against who was it? Patriots. Wasn't it the Patriots? Who won in
Yeah.
2018? It was the Patriots.
Mhm.
It was Tom Brady's last year.
Yeah, because it was a rematch
Yeah.
when they played him in 2001.
it was the Patriots, and he played horrible. I think he only threw just an interception. I
That
don't
was
think
the
he had any
difference
touchdowns.
between Stafford and Goff is Stafford can close a game out. He's not going to lose you the game. Goff lost you the game. That's the only difference there is. As far as statistically and play-wise,
But the only thing is
Give
with
him
that
weapons and he's good.
Is I'm not putting Goff in Matt Stafford's category because he's not. But Goff was also only a year 3 starter when he made the Super Bowl compared to Matt Stafford just
13.
made his 13th year. So if you switch them roles, if Goff is a year 13 starter with the Rams last year, I don't think he plays as bad
I don't
because
either.
he would have learned year 3 in the league, and you sort of stink
you
it up in your first Super Bowl
Yeah.
appearance, and all right. I mean, I get it. He was a bit, and he even admitted after they lost, he said, I was a bit shell shocked, dude. I was nervous.
What quarterback doesn't
yeah,
for the most part?
like we said, Tom Brady didn't have a great Super Bowl appearance his
No.
first time. Peyton Manning
He
wasn't
didn't have
fucking
a great one the first couple Super
yeah,
Bowls.
and Peyton Manning wasn't spectacular in his first Super Bowl appearance. So it's like a lot of quarterbacks aren't in your first one. But he just didn't do enough to get the job done.
But then he comes out the next year and pretty much repeats statistically what he did the year before.
Yep.
Now listen,
But they didn't make the Super Bowl.
time out. We all say that Jared Goff choked in the Super Bowl. That's why they lost, right? He only threw one pick.
That's what I said. He had one pick, but I don't think he threw any
Okay.
touchdowns.
He didn't. He threw for 229 yards.
I think he had a 50% completion percentage.
He was 19 of 38, so 50%.
50%. I just told that whole stat line somehow.
Matthew Stafford was 283 yards. He did throw 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 picks in that. If we went to in the same Super Bowl,
And I actually think their defense with Stafford was better than the previous one with
in the
with
same
Goff.
Super Bowl that we say Jared Goff was awful, Tom Brady went 21 of 35, 262 yards, no touchdowns and a pick.
In that same Super No, I
In the
didn't.
same Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think he played great in that Super Bowl either, being Brady.
So, but that's my point. We want to fault Jared Goff saying he choked in that Super Bowl. And his stats were not much different than what Brady threw.
Well, coming off, why they say that is because coming off his stellar
season.
rookie season or his stellar regular season, and then
But the Super Bowl, for as young as he was, that's huge. I mean, we can't use that as an excuse because you look at Burrow in the Super Bowl with Cincinnati. He didn't play awful.
Well, no, you can't
know.
use an excuse though, because I mean, there's been a lot that have
failed.
had
Oh,
great seasons
there
and
is.
then failed in
There
the
is.
Super
much
Bowl.
as you want to
The
sit there
jitters
and-
get to you.
There is.
It's a big stage.
Well, much we want to say Burrow failed. He didn't win the Super Bowl. He made it, and he wasn't the Joe Burrow that they had been used to all year.
But we're saying but it wasn't his fault why they lost.
Right. Oh, well, I think it was Jared Goff's fault they lost. I mean, you were completing damn near 70% of your passes, and all of a sudden you dropped to 50% on almost 40 attempts. It ain't
I can agree with that.
yeah,
part,
you didn't throw no touchdowns.
But
when you
how
were
many
coming off-
passes were dropped? We don't know how many passes.
I don't remember that, but I know what I remember correctly was he didn't look like the Jared Goff that was even. Look at his playoff stats that year. I think he played really well until the Super Bowl.
I mean, even though
If you, I don't know if you can look up game by game on there.
Look, the next
Playoffs.
season that he threw 4,600 yards again. Good touchdown to interception ratio again.
He was
and then-
traded because of Sean McVay didn't like him.
That's exactly what it is.
He
It's
did.
exactly what it is. I don't like this guy.
I'm
I don't
getting him
want him
out of
here.
here. Yeah, and I think
Anybody
the only
wants
one-
to say that, well, no, they just need to improve at the quarterback. Yeah, you got Stafford. Yes, it is an improvement.
They did improve, yes.
But it's not a vast improvement. And going from Goff to Stafford is not this ginormous jump. It's not. I'm not, like you said, they're not in the same realm. They're not, but they're not that far apart. They're not like leap years apart.
Yeah, I wanna
Goff is
see-
a good quarterback. Stafford's a fucking Hall of Famer. We know this. So it all comes
but
down
Goff
to
is
I
only-
just don't like that guy that's out there commanding my offense. It's what it is.
And if you give, like this year, they said, well, look what Matt Stafford did with the same talent. Yes, but once again, he was in year 12. And Goff's in year, 5?
And like I said, the Rams defense was better this year than what Goff had. It is.
You
I mean,
know,
they went out and got
they
Von
drafted-
fucking Miller.
I was looking at, because you mentioned like Joe Burrow didn't play. I mean, he went 22 of 33, no interceptions, a touchdown, 263 yards. The part that killed him, the sack 7 times was
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah, they took advantage of him in the second half. They started blitzing the shit out of him.
They really. So I don't fault Burrow in that loss. I don't fault the golf loss with the Rams. I can't say I won't put it all on him. I won't put it on golf. Yeah, he didn't perform, but we don't know how many.
Yeah, but you still got to. You still
D
got.
said both quarterbacks sucked that Super Bowl with
Yeah,
New England,
and he would know. He's a
Yeah,
Patriots
he did
fan.
pick
I
that
mean, yeah,
Patriots.
they didn't. Well, I mean, Brady was going against a very, very good St. Louis defense.
Yeah,
It was, that wasn't.
that defense. Is
And
tough.
you're right. This year's defense is better than what that year's defense was.
absolutely.
So, they didn't have Jalen Ramsey in that 2018. I don't believe
I think he was
um,
still with
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I think he
They
was the
didn't
big.
have Von Miller.
They
back
didn't have
then.
Von Miller. you
And I don't
know,
care
so-
when he says that man might be older and been in the league a long time, but he is still.
Well,
a
I will take
threat.
that back. I know Von Miller's better, but Robert Quinn wasn't no hoe in that on that team either. He played for that Rams team.
I still don't think he's a.
I mean, he's coming off a 20-sack season this past year, so it's. I mean, he's not. I'm not saying he's Von Miller, but he isn't a scrub. He's
No,
one of
he's
the
not.
better
Absolutely,
defensive
yeah,
ends in
he is.
football, even with his age.
Oh yeah.
So I just wanted to see what you guys.
Wait. Say the corner again that wasn't there in 2008.
Rams or 2018 Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey, I don't think was there.
Do you know who was there though that I forgot about?
Archuleta. No, I'm just kidding.
Marcus Peters.
Yeah, Marcus Peters was
Yeah.
there.
Marcus
yes.
Peters was there.
He was trade
He
ready.
was just as good.
Well, they not as
Ah,
Rams. Not as
as good
Rams.
as
He's
Jalen
not
I think
Ramsey.
he's just as good as Ramsey.
I don't think so.
I think he is.
He's
good.
Ramsey's a lockdown corner. Marcus Peters is a ball hawk. He's going to gamble on everything, and I think that's why they upgraded that position. That's why they traded Peters away and went and got Ramsey because they felt we need that lockdown corner.
Ramsey's just a.
He's another level.
I mean,
He's-
unless he faces Jamar Chase, but.
The only thing he's doing is
yeah.
mighty fine.
Yeah, he is, yeah. It wasn't because of him,
he
though.
might have got me, but this fucking ring looks good as fuck.
He better thank Donald, because if it wasn't for Donald,
Oh,
and that
that's-
sack,
there
it'd
you-
have been fucking over, boy.
Because
Because
Boy,
Jamar Chase was streaking down the sideline.
because Donald wasn't really a factor for most of the game
Not until the end.
until the end.
Second half, dude.
Yeah.
The second half,
And that
the
they're
first half, Cincinnati maintained it.
they're
they
gr-
did.
that is where once again I absolutely love Sean McVay, but he went into halftime thinking, well, we got him. We're going to attack the fuck out of that one side, that left side of that offensive line, and you're not going to stop us. That center and that left guard,
That
they
line,
can't handle us.
that line is what saved that Super Bowl. For
Oh,
because if it wasn't for Donald breaking in, Burrow had Chase down the sideline.
that's why I said
wide open.
you give that win to coaching.
Oh, absolutely. The coaching in that defensive line.
Well, they had to tell him
Yeah.
this is the stunts, this is the things we're going to run. We're going to attack your guy, and center is your guys' weak point. That's why you went and got a center. This is our weak point. we're attacking him, and we're going to see if he can handle
Now, hopefully,
this blitzes up the middle on you guys, and they did
hopefully
not.
that sticks.
And you ultimately, you guys
Hopefully that's
damn near
fixed.
you Bengals fans thought they just had a repeat ACL tear
Oh,
on
yeah,
Joe
'cause he got
Burrow
hit.
in that second half because they couldn't keep the bodies off
Oh
of
yeah, I
him.
remember him getting up limping, and I was like,
We
Oh,
both
I was
looked at each other.
nervous.
We
I
both
was
looked at each other like,
oh,
dude, did he? And it was the
That'd be
same
bad.
knee.
Yeah, it
We
was the
thought he
same
tore
knee.
the same
Yeah.
ACL. He did. Joe Burrow
No, it
did.
wasn't the same knee. It was the opposite knee.
I thought it was the same.
No,
No,
it was the
same one.
no, it was
I
the
thought it was the one he
opposite
had the
knee.
brace on.
It was the opposite knee when he went down.
Because
He
I'm
got
pretty
limping.
sure
They
when,
said even said on the thing there was his opposite knee that he had torn.
because if I'm not
I'm pretty sure it,
mistaken,
it might have been the same. I thought they said
I thought it was
opposite.
the same knee he had the brace on.
It might have been.
Because I thought when
'cause that's what he
when
grabbed
he was
for.
walking out, he said if I remember, he went, I tore it again. I thought that's exactly what he looked at Zach Taylor and said, I tore it again. And he was like, calm down. And Burrow said, no, I'm going, because he wasn't coming out.
No, he was going. I mean, would you?
No.
Biggest game of your life.
And that's that moxie he has. And they were like, he was like, I'm going back out. We get this ball again, I'm going right back
that
out there
line could
again.
have protected him for another 3 seconds.
Just think though, he ain't Tom Brady, bro. Tom Brady played on a torn meniscus all year.
Get out of here.
Jesus Christ, you fucking play one drive with an ACL injury. Didn't we have to hear that 2 years ago when they lost? Oh, it's because it was last year. Oh, it's because he played when he won the Super Bowl with the Bucks. Oh, he won the Super Bowl with a torn meniscus. Eat a dick, Tom. I love Tom, but eat a dick, Tom.
I don't.
You know,
For him.
eat a fucking dick. He's a phony, but he's still great. That is what it is.
Check down King, boy.
We won the Super Bowl. Now it's released to the public that I did it on a torn meniscus.
Yeah, dude, they
Let's
have
make
to
my
do it.
legendary status grow.
And I
That's
think they did
exactly
that.
what the fuck that
I
was.
No, I think a part of the reason why they did that was because they said Patrick Mahomes had the injury and the offensive line they were going out. Well, Tom Brady, he won and he had to make it way worse than what Mahomes' injury was. I'm like, dude, come get the fuck out of here.
I don't care what anybody says. I can play with a torn meniscus. I played basketball. I never got surgery on a torn meniscus, and I played basketball on a torn meniscus. Bro, you make me stub my toe and got turf toe, and I try to walk. Bro, you ever tried to walk with missing big toe? They say you need your big toes for balance. That's what they say. That's the balance of your body is your big toes.
People walk without them, though.
You ain't no one walking without big toes. Yeah, how many people you know are missing both big toes
I know a guy that got his toes cut off.
on one foot?
Well, I don't know if it's both.
That's what I just
know
said.
he got one.
I don't think you
He
can
still
walk.
walks.
Google that and see if you can walk without your big toes. Dude, I'm telling I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I was
He
told.
said he did say that. I'm assuming he's talking about Burrow.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that if you lose both big toes, it's like the balance of your body is your big toes when it comes to your feet. That's why they're big.
You will lose some balance, strength, and ability, but you can walk fine as long as you're in appropriate shoes that are customized inserts for your toe fillers.
So you got to have your big toes.
So apparently you need your big toes.
I thought that's what it was.
Mike, we're gonna strap your big toe up and see if you.
No,
walk
you-
around.
Because I bet you walk really, because you just think about how all your toes on your foot, if you have callus on your feet, I'd imagine you don't have it on any of your middle toes. It's on your big toe. Where's your calluses on your actual foot? It's the ball for the most part, because that's where most of your weight goes when you transfer, when you walk. Your big toe adjusts all that.
Listen, Dr.
But
Mike.
Just
it's
think
saying-
about it.
This article is saying you will adjust.
I'd
And
imagine.
you will be able to walk, run, jog, do all kinds of things. You'll just have to adjust.
Yeah, with years
It'll
of practice.
take time.
Yeah. It's
So
like
right now, early prediction, like no bias.
It actually absorbs 40% of the force you exert when you step down. Is your big toe.
I'm a genius.
40%.
Think about it. I guessed Jared
Okay.
Goff's stats
Okay, since
to a
this is,
T.
this is kind of our
Mooney
final
was laughing.
show.
He was laughing, wasn't he? He knew I had him all right.
This is our kind of our final show for a couple of weeks.
Talk like that again.
I don't know. He's
You
been
heard
on
that?
something. yesterday. I
Yeah,
think
what did you
he-
do?
I think he
That's
was.
why I write a show for the week.
Anyway, bold prediction, no biasness, unless you really feel
so
this
we
way.
know you're going to be biased. Go ahead.
Who do you feel is going to make it to the Super Bowl next year?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, we're doing Super Bowl prediction early.
Early.
After
We're gonna
the
Early
draft.
Super Bowl
Yeah,
prediction
and if
after the
he's
draft.
watching,
We've seen the draft. We've seen the free agency. You know, barring we know we're gonna have some trades coming up, probably still coming. But who do you think right now goes to the Super Bowl? We need some Jeopardy music on there.
Go ahead. Go. Who? You asked the question. Who you thinking?
No, I asked it. So you guys can answer
Okay,
it
so
first.
who's your AFC pick? I'm waiting.
I'll even let you do 2 teams. You can take one of 2 teams.
No, you can't. See, that's ridiculous. Now you're trying to make it seem like I was partially right. That sounds like Mooney. Well, I got it right, but I was wrong. You know, when you guess something, you're like, dude, I was good on like the yards, but I was off on the yards.
I'm going to pick the Chargers out of the AFC.
I got Denver.
Because Russell Wilson.
You know, that's my boy.
I knew
That's
it.
my boy. No, they're good anyways. They just added the best piece that they were missing and a great quarterback.
I'm going to go with Kansas City.
I mean, that's pretty predictable.
I'm going to go with
I
Kansas
thought he was
City.
going to go something wild.
I
I
did
thought for
either.
sure he wanted to say the
Chargers
Bengals.
for me was a little wild, but
He thought for sure. This man is. That's why he wanted 2 teams. Okay, who
he
would be your
wants to
second
say
team?
the Bengals. He wants
Who
to
would be
say
your
the
second?
Bengals.
Who would be your second?
He wants
AFC
to.
team? You're a liar.
Whatever, you
You're a
fucking
liar.
lied, son of a bitch.
you
That's
just lied.
fucking bullshit. It's Cincinnati. We know it is.
It is.
God.
All right, so you got no, I'm not going to say you're biased. Who you picking to make the Super Bowl in the AFC? I do have Denver.
I already went Kansas City.
You think Kansas City? I really believe Denver.
I really believe the Chargers, especially what they just did on defense.
And
My biasness wants to say Cincinnati.
Of course it
but-
does.
I mean, but you can't fault me for it. They just were there.
My biasness
And
does
they-
not say Cleveland.
and they
I'll tell you that.
fixed their main part that was wrong.
Did they though? We think they did. It looks like they could have. Well, we all know on paper it looks good, but how does it go on in the field?
Dude, if Lyle Collins comes out and Kappa comes out and they don't block where the fuck.
I don't give a fuck with any of you. You can call me biased or not. I'm saying Dallas, Denver for the Super Bowl. Give a fuck. Call me biased.
Typical Dallas fan.
I've never picked Dallas in the Super Bowl. I had us in our playoff bracket not making the Super Bowl.
That's false. When we did our bracket,
No, I
you
had
said,
us-
didn't he say, he goes, well, I have Dallas going all the way. Oh,
No, I said I felt that they could go all the way. It was just on Mike McCarthy and what Mike McCarthy did. I had us upset in Green Bay.
where's that? Womp, womp, womp. Give me that.
I had us upset in Green Bay because the fact that I thought Mike McCarthy was going to one-up them. But I had us losing the very next week, who I believe
I think it was Tampa.
was Tampa.
Mhm.
Don't take his side, man.
But no, I do remember him saying, "Well, I think they got the talent to go all the way, but
Everybody,
I'm not going to put them in there."
everybody thought. And I think
I ain't gonna lie, I got mocked because I was trying to put Cincinnati and everything. You guys laughed at me.
no, I just made that up. I don't think Dallas is going to make the Super Bowl. I was just being an asshole. It's hard in the NFC. To me,
you
it's
got the
hard,
Rams again. You're gonna have San Francisco being a contender again.
depending on who they start.
Depend who they start. You got Tampa. You can't never count Tampa out.
And that's really ultimately who I hate to say it, but I'm going to pick.
I'm not picking them.
I think it's going to be a California Super Bowl. I think it'll be the Rams and the Chargers.
Ooh, that'd be cool. It'd be cool.
And where is the Super Bowl this year?
Florida, I think, isn't it? No, is it Dallas?
No, it's not Dallas. I don't think.
I think it is Florida. I think it
I
does
don't
happen
know.
in
That
Florida.
Super Bowl thing changes so darn much. But who you got, dude?
D just put he's putting the Bengals AFC, and believe it or not, Cowboys NFC.
I mean, I think that Cowboys have a chance once again. They're too loaded of an offense and defense to say this team doesn't have a chance to be a Super Bowl contender.
That would be awesome, dude.
What?
Bengals Cowboys. That'd be awesome.
I will be there. I'll take a loan out. If the Cowboys make the Super Bowl, I will be there. I don't care
This
what you
is coming
say.
from the guy who said he was going to be there for Simmons' first game back to Philly.
He never played.
They're
I
playing.
can't go. if
We
he don't
never
play.
went.
They're playing in
He never-
Cardinals
I thought
Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
He never suited up. That's why we didn't go. And the tickets jumped to 4. I'm not going. If I can see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, I'm there. Just like we're already going to Dallas this year to watch Cincy.
Oh, absolutely.
So Mooney gets save some tickets. Go with us. Save some
I'm
money.
not.
get up
I
there.
don't give a shit.
You don't want to go to Dallas?
No.
Dude, it's the biggest stadium, best stadium in the world.
I got to be around more ignorant fans like you.
Oh, yeah, it's probably true. But
No, I'm kidding.
who do you have coming out of the NFC?
if Jimmy G starts for San Francisco.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I do not see San Francisco,
They've had him before and they couldn't make it.
but they've had him before and made it.
I mean, when you sit and look at the NFC, who sticks out to you right away? I would say the Bucks. They brought back everybody.
Not everybody.
I mean, the key pieces. Godwin, Evans, Gronk's going to play. I don't care what anybody says. He will suit up week 1 for the Bucks. Brady's back. Leonard Fournette's back. Ryan Jensen did resign. So, I mean, they
Does
they
the
went
coach
and
going to
stole.
matter?
Coach is different too.
Yeah, but Todd Bowles is not a bad coach. And I don't think you really need an offensive coach when Tom Brady's running out there. I'm just going to say that proudly. So all he's really going to do is make sure that defense is tuned up, which was the biggest problem with them was defensive-wise. Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator.
All I got to say is I'm rooting for Tampa to lose.
I get that. I get it. But I'm asking a legitimate question. I'm right there with you. I don't want to see Tom
I'm telling
Brady.
you legitimately, if San Francisco starts Jimmy G, I can see San Francisco making a run for the Super Bowl again.
I'm not saying they can't, but I asked you who stands out when you look at the NFC right away.
San Francisco.
You really they're the one team that stands out above
They sure
anybody
the
and
hell-
everybody.
Green Bay.
They lost too much.
You're not going to get me to say Tampa.
I know I'm not, but it's logical. When you go to the NFC East, Philly's improved, Washington's improved, Giants still suck. But the Cowboys are the cream of the crop right now in that division, talent-wise, both offensive and defense. You go over the NFC West. You look at who do you have out there? We have Arizona, but they're missing D-Hop for 6
time out.
games.
You just said that Dallas is the cream of the crop.
Of the NFC East.
But offensively, the only person they have better offensively is Dak Prescott. And if you want to count Zeke because Miles Sanders is injured. Receiver-wise, they don't have a receiving core like Philly's got.
They have a better one.
I don't know.
CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. So you're taking over. I'm taking Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb over Devontae Smith.
I'm talking about A.J. Brown.
That's it. Their tight ends are probably even. Dalton Schultz has been a monster 2 years. Dallas Goedert's a good tight end. They're both good tight ends, correct?
I would say they're more comparable than one's better than the other.
And the
I'm
one
gonna
position
say, I'm going to
they
say the
out-
bottom of that division is the Giants. We can all agree on that,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And then
Okay.
the cream of the
top
crop.
of it, I'm going to put Dallas up there.
I'm not saying
until
Dallas
they can
top.
until
I'm
they can
just-
take Big Brother out. I'm going to put them up there.
And
they
then the
haven't
cream
been
of the
able to do it
crop
for a while.
on that is the one position that matters for
Dak
anybody that
Prescott.
makes. So that's why I said their quarterback is better than any other quarterback in that division.
Oh, I agree with that.
And then, you can make arguments for the receiving core. Philly did nice things at the receiving core. Running back to me is better in Dallas. I'm taking Zeke and Tony Pollard over Miles Sanders and whoever the hell else they run out there. That little short guy or Jordan Howard or
I mean,
whoever
the
else
Eagles
they run.
receiver with A.J. Brown and then Devontae Smith is very good
very
and
good.
very comparable to CeeDee Lamb and
Yes, it is. Michael Gallup.
Michael Gallup. It's very comparable. But like he said, who's at the quarterback? I'm going to give that edge to the quarterback. And it's Dak Prescott's better than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. And then
I didn't argue that. That
No,
didn't
I
come
know.
out of my
I'm
mouth.
saying
that's
me.
why I said when I
I'm
said
saying what
cream.
I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said and why I'm giving them the edge.
And that's-
Plus, coaching. They have a better coach. I mean, I think Dallas does.
Well, yeah, because they have their second
D
year
said
coach.
Bucks, Rams, Cowboys, Eagles is his 4 top teams.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. I'm just going through the divisions for you guys. So when you go over the NFC West, you
Hey,
got
time out. Hey D, is this show better than what you've seen on Facebook now that we're on YouTube? Let us know.
and so when you go over the NFC West, and DeAndre Hopkins missing 6 games is going to be a big factor in
Huge,
Arizona.
Huge.
And so then you have we don't know what they're doing in San Francisco. So until they announce that, it's hard to even say, well, San Francisco could be there because we don't know what they're doing.
He said, hell yeah, no stopping at all.
Okay. And then you have the Rams.
Thank you, D. The Rams always up there. Arizona, really, you look at last year.
Because I'm writing Seattle off. I'm just telling you that Seattle is going to be maybe a 2-3 win team.
Yeah.
Arizona did very well last year until they lost DeAndre Hopkins. The moment they lost DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray went whoop, downhill. I think if they can get him back, once they get him back, I think Arizona's going to be a tough team to beat.
But I know I agree with that. But it's what's their record going to be after in week 7?
Well, if
I
they can
think-
at least go 3-3, they're all right.
I look for him to
I
go
agree with
4-2. 4-2
Without him?
without him. I do.
I don't know.
Worst
Who
case
I don't know
trade.
who that. I don't
Also,
know who
remember
that-
they got Marquise Brown, but they
That's
also lost Christian Kirk to Jaguars.
Yeah.
So who's their other? Because AJ Green they
they
didn't
have
resign.
they have Zach Ertz and they have
D said
Hollywood Brown.
Right, like, who else do they
if,
have?
If Baker goes to Seahawks, they're a playoff team.
no.
Oh, I can go. I can ride with D on that. I think if they can get better than Drew Lock, they're built to win. They just lost their quarterback. I think they can be a playoff team. I don't know if they can make the playoffs because that's a loaded division out there. But
Rondale Moore, the rookie a couple years ago. I remember.
he's shifty guy. They don't have nothing else.
No.
Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
They have Hollywood
Andy
Brown and Zach
Isabel.
Ertz.
Andre Baselli.
So then you go to the NFC North. So we know we got the Rams out of the West, obviously. Go to the NFC North. I'm not sold on really anybody out of there. We got to see what the Bears are going to do with Justin Fields and their new coach. The Lions, they could be better, but we'll find out.
I don't
You know,
think they're a playoff team.
That's
yet.
a time. That's a time to tell. They could win that division. I mean,
The
they
Bears
add
could
us-
improve by changing the coach,
they added
could
some.
help.
in that division though. That's I don't.
and that is Green Bay's
It is-
division.
it
Even
is-
if they lost Devontae Adams, they didn't lose.
They lost fans. They lost.
They didn't lose Rodgers.
They lost Scantling too, though.
But they didn't lose Rodgers.
I know they didn't, but at the same time, if you look at Detroit got better.
D said
One-
he thinks Lions win the division.
Yeah, one, they added Jamison Williams in the draft. If he turns out to be what people are expecting him to be, that's just another weapon to go with that Ahmad Brown or however you say his name.
St.
that-
Brown.
Yeah. And then if Swift is healthy, he's a legitimate back in the league.
Swift is a good back.
Jared Goff's a good
Well, and you
quarterback.
got their tight end.
Hawkinson.
Hawkinson.
TJ
So they
Hawkinson.
have a good that division to me is so wide open, and it's only because of the key losses to the Packers. It's open to me. You know, I'm not. I'll tell you until Kirk Cousins is gone out of Minnesota, I will never pick him to be a playoff team because the dude is just an 8-8 quarterback. That's just what he does.
Those up gaudy numbers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jenny.
He gives you great numbers, but he doesn't win you the big game.
I still think she's watching.
I still think Green Bay wins that division.
And I'm
As
not.
long
I'm
as
not,
Aaron
I'm not
Rodgers is
arguing
there.
that, but I'm just saying if they didn't, it wouldn't be shocking because it is so wide.
I would
open to
actually
me.
be shocked if they don't.
Oh, okay.
For me,
And then you got
I'd be more shocked if Vikings win.
the NFC South. That's the Bucks.
Yeah, that's
So we went through each division in the NFC. What about AFC? Who's your picks to win each division in the AFC?
Well, I'm just trying to
I
figure
like how
out.
we
No,
turned out Super Bowl picks. Now we're
no,
picking
no.
division
We're still on the
winners.
Super Bowl pick.
I know, but we're going
Yeah,
through
no,
each division. Who's going to
because
win?
no one had a clue on who they wanted to pick for the NFC. So I
I-
narrowed it down to 4 teams.
Oh, I did. I said Rams right away. I think they're the best team
you
in the
went
NFC.
Bucks. I'm the only one that threw a team at.
I don't.
Yeah, you
I
went
don't.
San Francisco.
The NFC is just too hard for me. And if you're making me pick one, I'm going to go with Tom Brady. And that's trying not to be biased and saying.
So let's go
Cowboys
ahead.
or
We've already
Rams.
been on this run. Let's do the AFC. Go by division.
We'll start with the AFC South.
Denver.
Huh? They're not in the South. They're in the
Sorry, not
West.
Denver. I'm going through my head. Who's in the South?
The South is the Colts.
Jaguars,
I think the Colts win that division.
Texans, and who's the other one?
Titans.
Titans.
I think it's the Colts all day long. That's just me.
I
Add
think-
Matt Ryan
I think it's.
to Jonathan Taylor.
I'd say Colts.
I'd say Colts because Titans lost a huge piece when they let AJ Brown
They lost
walk.
two huge pieces. I mean, Julio Jones ain't
Yeah.
a scrub to watch walk away either. And then we don't know the complete health of Derrick Henry. I know he played in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
I just think you're right. Losing AJ Brown, Julio it's big. I mean, they went and they got Traylon Burks instead
He
or
agrees
whatever.
Colts.
Yeah.
Colts. So we're done with that. That was
Colts.
pretty quick and
Yeah.
pretty easy. And the AFC North is tough. You got the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, the Steelers.
I'm not going to put the
Not
Steelers
putting
in
the Steelers
because their
there.
rookie quarterback is. They're probably going to have him out there. Ravens. It's hard to count against Ravens. It's hard to count against Cincinnati.
Ravens
And with
just
Cleveland,
depends.
I'm not going to put Cleveland up there only because we don't really have a good receiving core. We did improve in the quarterback. Our defense is still intact, and we did improve it. But until they can get more receivers and more weapons, I don't know what Cleveland's going to run on offense. So I
He
can't
said
put them in there.
Cincinnati.
So it's between, for me, Cincinnati and Baltimore.
That's a really hard.
It is
division to
hard.
pick.
I'm going Cincinnati fan, so I'm obviously going to go Cincinnati in that case. Because I do agree, Cincinnati, Baltimore, tough. But I think Cincinnati we swept them last year, so with Lamar Jackson.
And I think,
I think until they get him weapons,
yeah,
it's too hard to pick
I have
Ravens.
It's going to be Cincinnati.
And like I said, with the thing that helped Cincinnati, the biggest flaw of Cincinnati was their offensive line, and they've went out and spent a lot of money this past offseason to make that line better. Even if they cut, you look at what Joe Burrow did, being sacked 70 times last year. You look at what he did. If you gave that man time like Tom Brady had, only being sacked 20 sometimes, could you imagine what he could have done? His passing yards would have been better. He had more passing yards, obviously. Maybe more touchdowns. His stats would have been way better. But to be sacked 70 times, that's a lot.
It's just the only thing with that is, can he contain it? Can he continue what he did? Because his rookie year, he was not a good quarterback. Don't care what anybody says. He was a mediocre football quarterback his rookie year. When he went down after 11 weeks, he had 13 total touchdowns and 8 or 9 picks. He was playing mediocre. So do I see the trajectory?
I wouldn't say it's
going,
mediocre for rookie. I think that's still pretty decent for a rookie.
It's decent, yes, but
Yeah,
it's not what he came out and did this year. And I think adding Jamar Chase legitimately helped him to another level. And I think they're going to sort of follow that path throughout the rest of the NFL draft.
Saying,
if you can pair them up, you're going to do it.
No matter what, they did it and they succeeded, and their offense is still intact. It's going to be hard to stop that offense. And Baltimore,
I'm not saying it's
Baltimore
not.
just lost a receiver.
I don't think it comes down. I don't think it comes down to Baltimore. I didn't say Baltimore was there. I don't think Lamar's enough to get them there. I think it's the Browns and the Bengals. That is the talk. I'm a believer in Deshaun Watson. I've watched him do it for the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, I'm huge on Deshaun. I'm just not huge on our receiving core with Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I love Amari Cooper.
The other thing we got to see too.
We're gonna have Donovan Peoples-Jones and Schwartz,
and he done a lot in his career with less.
The other thing, the other thing we got to watch,
and he does have freaks in the running back field that he's never had before.
You guys may not agree, but we also have to see how this coach and quarterback mesh together.
Well,
because we've seen times where a quarterback has performed poorly under a coach, a new coach comes in and that quarterback takes off. I'm not saying that's going to be the case. Don't take it that way.
Well,
I'm just saying we got to see how good they mesh.
The only thing I'm thinking, like I've said before, is that
he's going to use him like Kirk Cousins.
He wanted Kirk Cousins. That's what he did in Minnesota. That's why he was the coordinator there.
Version.
He got a better version of Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson. That's why I think it's going to work. I personally, I understand what you're saying, but I personally am not questioning that because I think they got each other.
Why I think Baker failed with Kevin Stefanski is because Kevin Stefanski throws the ball to run it. He's a pass-first head coach. He wants to throw the ball in order to open the run. Baker Mayfield needs the run to work before passing helps him. He's not going to be able to be. He's a rhythm guy. Stefanski's offense don't work with that type of quarterback, and he now has that. Now we might see rust with Deshaun. I just think that's the two teams it comes down to. If I have to pick one, I'm probably going to lean more towards the Bengals because of the fact that they are your reigning Super Bowl representatives for the AFC. And until we get to see Deshaun, and if he has rust, that's
and the fact they didn't lose any key pieces and they upgraded the offensive line.
We did lose. We lost a tight end.
Like I said, he didn't lose any key pieces.
Well, he lost a big leader. He lost.
That's
he was a leader. Yeah, he was.
He was a big leader. He had I think 600 yards receiving last year.
I want to see Jamar. I'm picking the Bengals to win that division, but I also want to see if Jamar
is going to repeat it and do better.
Yeah, he has to improve his game too. He's got to get. I mean, he did, like you said, he did improve in the route running.
Run a route.
But he has to be able to improve more because I'm a firm believer they're going to study what this dude does. They're going to study what this dude does poorly, and they're going to force him to do that. And can he become better? Can he adjust and be like, well, you go ahead?
The thing that helps with that is if they do try to take Chase away, they still have Higgins and they still have Boyd, who both have proven that we can catch the ball too.
Yeah.
So even if they do double, because they really can't to stop me, you really can't double Jamar Chase.
No, the key is not shutting down the receivers. The key is pressure. That's the key. Pressure Burrow. That's
and that's why they went out and got because everybody knew that last year.
Right.
And we knew Burrow was the best quarterback last year under pressure. He had the best quarterback rating under pressure last year.
Except in the Super Bowl.
That's true. That's facts.
Well, the second half of the Super Bowl. First half, he did great.
It was they didn't put no pressure on him in the first either.
But, to have, who's to say? You're going to be able to stand in that pocket being hit 7 times and still win the game? chances of you, any quarterback, I don't care who, I don't care if you're Tom
No,
fucking Brady.
ask Ben Roethlisberger. It didn't work for him either.
Yeah, if you're, you don't care who you
I
are.
said that when
You
the
get
Super Bowl
sacked
come.
I'm surprised. Was it the Tennessee game that he was sacked 9 times?
Oh yeah, I
And-
remember that. Yeah,
And they still won that game.
Yeah, and I said the exact reason I said in our podcast, and thank God that Ryan Tannehill threw 4 interceptions and was piss poor. You know, he ran into a better quarterback and a better team. So I mean, when you pressure somebody, I said that was the key to that Super Bowl. If they get to Joe Burrow, they're not winning that Super Bowl. If they can't get to Joe Burrow, the Rams probably aren't winning that Super Bowl. In the first half, they couldn't get to him, and Cincinnati looked like they were going to win the Super Bowl. And then they came out and said, "We're changing that." So we got
two other
picks.
divisions here.
So AFC West.
That's Denver. That's Chargers. Am I
Are you
blanks
picking
here?
somebody?
No. I'm naming who there's in the fucking division.
It's the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and Denver.
See, that's a tough division.
I'm going Kansas City.
You already picked.
I know. I picked the
Yeah.
Chargers, but that's a tough division.
it's
man.
very,
I'm
very,
going
very
Kansas
tough
That's
City.
probably going to be the toughest division in the NFL this year.
I'm picking Kansas City to win that division, but I'm picking Denver to represent in the Super Bowl. They're going to get 2, possibly 3 teams in the playoffs next year.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The
Denver,
only thing,
Kansas City, and Chargers could all three be in there.
Oakland out there like they didn't get
D,
Devontae
hey,
Adams.
that's why I say right here. D put Oakland. D
Yeah.
put Oakland.
He's trying to pick the underdog.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he's being
arguably,
he's
I think
being
you'll see it.
realistic.
You're going to see a division where every team in there is 500 or better, and it'll be the first time you've ever seen that because it's highly possible.
The biggest question for Oakland is going to be Carr.
It is.
Yeah.
That's going to be
It
the biggest
absolutely is.
So
I mean, remember
and
last year he came out and he was
not-
leading the NFL in passing and completion percentage, touch, like he was on fire, and then just fell
The
off.
thing is he's not trying to pick. I think he's being reasonable. People are going to go into that division and overlook the Raiders like they didn't make some nice key acquisitions. Adding Derek Carr's best friend.
Oh, D, that's a stretch, bud. He said Carr's going to be MVP. That could be because him and Devontae Adams have that connection.
You guys, everybody said, well, Jamar Chase was the big reason why Joe Burrow had so much success. You just gave Derek Carr not only his Fresno State receiver, but you just gave him his best friend. They got all the chemistry in the world out there. They know exactly what each other does and doesn't do. So you could see an even bigger year out of Devontae Adams.
I think that's what Cincinnati did best, was show a blueprint on bringing that chemistry in.
Yes, that's what I said.
Because it was huge.
It's exactly why the Dolphins did what they did with Tua and Waddle.
Yep.
You know, it's exactly why Devontae Smith is sitting in Philly with Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
You know, they showed the blueprint. That's a big reason why I think Oakland said, let's go get that guy. Let's mimic what
That
these other teams are doing.
That chemistry is.
And who did they sign on defense?
Who?
Oakland. I call them Oakland. It's Las Vegas.
I do the same thing. I call St. Louis, Las Vegas Rams, or Los Angeles Rams, St. Louis still.
Yeah, and I'm picking Kansas City to win it because my boy Patty Mahomes is out there. But I think Mooney's right. You're going to see probably no team worse than 9-8 in that division.
We'll see. The only thing that keeps Kansas City up is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You take
And
him
they-
away, that team doesn't do well.
I mean,
losing Hill's
you
a big
got-
thing.
You got to hope that their Juju and them are show up. I mean, you do. I mean, that's not no easy. Patrick's got to be Aaron Rodgers. You took away. He still has Kelsey. Now, don't get me wrong, he does, but they don't have a solid running back. So we could possibly see the 9-8 team beat the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it on paper, the Chargers are better than the Chiefs. The Raiders are better than the Chiefs. And the Broncos are better than the Chiefs. But why everybody puts the Chiefs of everybody else is because of Patty Mahomes.
Chandler Jones.
Yeah, they went and got Chandler
That's
Jones.
what I
Yeah.
said. They got a big piece on defense. I forgot about
So-
Chandler Jones.
I still think, I'm going to say it proudly, I think
The thing is, none of those teams have a coach like Andy Reid. Andy Reid's the best coach in that division. I don't care.
I'll
Hands
agree
down.
with you.
yeah.
I just think
So who you picking?
I think the Chargers defense
who you
is too
picking?
much with what they added. And they knew that in that division. As soon as the Russell trade happened, that's when they started gathering on defense.
And that right there, Chargers are going to depend on Herbert. If he can come out and light it up, yeah, absolutely.
Which I don't doubt that.
I don't
He
doubt
hasn't-
that
he
either.
hasn't
He's got
proven he
back-to-back
can't,
I
four.
mean, it's going to depend on
Yeah.
him. Because
I don't actually know. I don't think it depends on him. Actually, I actually think
It depends
because
on their
of that division,
defense.
it's defense in that division.
Yep.
It is going to depend on how good that defense is and if they can stay healthy. Because you've got two of the greatest quarterbacks in the game in that same division with you. That is tough.
Well, then
That
I
is
had C.J.
tough.
Jackson and who's the defensive end they got?
Yeah.
Bosa.
Both. No.
They signed him
From Bears.
yes, Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack.
He's a linebacker.
He's an outside linebacker who's going to play like TJ Watt. He's going to
I'm
blitz.
pretty sure he's
Yeah.
middle linebacker.
No, he's
no,
not.
he's
He's
not.
never
No,
been a
he's
middle
not.
linebacker.
You sure?
No, yeah,
He's
he
an
come
outside.
from Oakland as a pure pass rusher.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
what
he
he
was-
is.
Yeah, he's that hybrid. He's that hybrid
Mhm.
defensive end. Is
He
what he
just
is.
going for the sacks. That's
Yeah.
all he does.
They can drop him back every now and then, but they choose not to.
But the key in that is, can Bosa stay healthy? If he can't stay
Well, I
healthy,
think that's why they went and got
Mac
Mac.
is-
Mac
right.
stays healthy,
but Mac
He is outside.
needs
linebacker.
he needs a guy too to help him.
and they got Derwin James who's coming back healthy.
They do.
One of the better safeties in all of
Phew,
football.
God.
So I mean,
Yeah.
who you picking? We are almost at 2
Kansas
hours here.
City.
Kansas City
Chargers.
Chargers. So I picked Kansas City to win that division too. Now we have, last but not least, the AFC East.
Who you got, D?
That's it. Dolphins, Patriots, Buffalo.
Want to say
the other one?
Patriots, but it's going to be the
Jets.
Bills. That's what D said. I would say Bills.
I'm gonna take the Bills, but I'm not even saying Patriots. I look out for the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm saying if Tua just plays decent football, that team's stupid fucking good. Because I'm gonna say it right now on TV, they probably have the best tandem of receivers in all of football with Waddle and Tyreek Hill running around there. They couldn't guard Waddle last year. No one has ever been able to prove they can guard Tyreek Hill. Now you got these little fucking shifty motherfuckers running everywhere. What the hell? And
He goes, what the hell?
they're legitimately
That'd be like Cincinnati going and getting Justin Jefferson.
yes, and adding him to fucking
Yeah,
Jamar
Jamar
Chase. It's
Chase.
like, oh shit, what do you do?
Yeah. Could
'Cause
you
it's ar-
imagine that tandem?
Because it's arguably two of the better route runners in all of football. So it's like, and they're both fucking super fast. It's can Tua get him the ball? That's just
Don't
gonna
they
be the
have,
thing.
do they still have Parker too?
No, they sent him to the Patriots,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
but they have Gesicki. I forget who they signed. We keep talking about who they signed at running back.
Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds. So, I mean, I still think the Bills win that. They probably win it by a couple games. But I could see the Dolphins being another 10-11 win team.
Did the Bills add anything big this offseason?
And they still didn't go get a running back. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't remember them making
Did
any
you see
splash signings.
New Orleans sign Matthew?
Matthew, yeah. Yeah, but I don't think that does much for him.
No.
Makes their defense still pretty decent, but
Well, we've got our picks.
we got our picks. And I'm saying in the Super Bowl,
So I'm picking Miami to win the division.
I'm saying in the Super
Hard to
Bowl.
beat Josh Allen though.
It is.
It is.
It's very hard to beat
And
him.
Stephon Diggs.
Extremely
It's
tough.
very hard to beat him.
Extremely tough.
If I had to, sitting here now,
Dawson Knox.
you know what? I don't care if you guys call me biased or not. Denver, Dallas in the Super Bowl. Denver.
So it's okay if I say Cincinnati.
No, it's okay. You pick who you want. I don't care what. Denver, Dallas in the Super Bowl.
I do believe Cincinnati is going to make another run. They
Who you
fixed their
picking?
problem. I think it's going to be Cincinnati and God, the NFC though. The NFC's tough. I
You going rematch?
could possibly see a rematch. Yeah.
Has it ever been done? The same teams back to back? Has it ever been done?
I don't know. It's back. I know Cincinnati and San Fran played twice in the '80s, but it wasn't back to back.
No.
I don't know if it's
So-
ever been. We also threw out that weird ass thing: a quarterback making their first start in the Super
Wait a
Bowl and
minute.
losing has never
Wait a
went
minute.
back.
How many times did Buffalo play Dallas in the '90s?
Not back to back.
Not back to
Wasn't
back.
back to back. I couldn't remember.
It wasn't back to back.
It was back to back.
It wasn't back to back.
No, we won 2 and 3. We won 2 and 3 years, so it was not back to back. They went back 4 straight years, but it wasn't.
Yeah, they went 4 straight, but I couldn't
Yeah, we
remember how
beat
many
them.
times.
We beat them in '94. Oh, it was back to back. No, because they lost to Washington in '91, us in '92, us in '93.
So they lost to the Giants, then they lost to the Redskins, and they lost to Dallas back
Back to back. I said '92, '93.
92, 93.
Yeah, so it was back to back. That's why I kept saying, I'm like, I'm
I
running.
thought they did. That's
yeah.
why I asked. I thought I'm
I
pretty
kept
sure.
thinking like,
Bills
they did.
added Von Miller. Thank you, D. They did.
They
Bill's
did.
out of
Yeah,
Von
Von
Miller.
Miller. That's nice call, D. I forgot all about that. See, it's any signings. I'm still Denver, Dallas.
And you're going Cincinnati.
I'm gonna go Cincinnati Rams again.
I'm going Rams, Chargers.
All right. D, who D have?
Bengals Cowboys.
Bengals, Cowboys. Oh, yeah, he did. Ooh, god damn. Man, oh, man, we'd be there. I don't know, probably not. That's a lot. But anyways, guys, hey, man, we were in here. This was fun for our last show for a couple weeks. We will come back to YouTube. You guys like YouTube? I like YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's better.
We will come back
He
to
likes
YouTube. We'll say about 2 weeks, possibly 3 weeks from now. I hope we're going to get more people to come to YouTube. I think Dee's probably the only one that actually tuned into YouTube with us. But I'm Mike Ash.
I'm Jay.
Big country.
And this is We're All In Podcast, man. We're out of here. Jeez.